Howdy, Cole. And man. Wait, no. Do that. Yeah, I don't know. My sleep schedule is kind of weird. I did not sleep yesterday, and I meant to stream Alan Wake, but by the time I usually stream, I was getting really tired. So I just said, fuck it, and I went to sleep instead. And so I figured I'd try to make up for it by streaming early in the morning instead. See how that goes. Hope you're having a good day so far, Cole. So it's got to be like about, I want to say 2 in the afternoon there. Howdy, Zero. Welcome in, man. Get rid of my little echoes. It's 1? Oh, okay, so you're only 9 hours ahead over where you are. Gotcha. But yeah, welcome in for more Alan Wake. I was just telling Cole that I was gonna play this yesterday, but I didn't sleep, so I got really tired around the time that I normally stream. So I figured I'd try to make it up by streaming in what's actually early morning for me right now. Anyways, yeah. Let's get started. Yeah, I couldn't think of a catchy title. Every time I tried to think of one for the stream, I just kept thinking of the fact that I named my first stream Alan Wake Me Up Inside. I'm like, damn, I blew that one way too early. I guess we're going to the coal mine then.
Little by little, without realizing it, I'd come to believe that the story in the manuscript was coming true.
Oh, howdy, Sheds. Welcome in.
Had taken me deeper and deeper into dark waters. Alice had been taken from me,
Yeah, I hope
Harry was
everyone's doing
probably in
okay
jail. I
today.
was a fugitive from the FBI. The whole world taken over by the Dark Presence was trying to destroy me. It all felt real, but it matched a textbook case of insanity.
Yeah, I didn't sleep yesterday, so well, I did eventually sleep, but it was around the time that I normally stream instead. So after napping it out for like most of the day into the night, I figured I'd just kind of stream Alan Wake in the morning, and then later on today we'll do the Jackbox Party Pack stream finally. But I figured I'd just make up the fact that I didn't do Alan Wake yesterday like I wanted to. Yeah, this is probably a better vehicle for off-roading. 7 a.m. No, it is actually 4 a.m. here. I live on the West Coast. I'm actually another 3 hours behind. Radio.
This is Pat Main, and you're listening to KBF-FM. Folks, I want to apologize for kind
Just a
of
tad.
abandoning you
Turn that up. Okay.
music track last night, but I was detained. You see, I encountered a big shot G-man with an itchy trigger finger who could use a
Big shot FBI G-man
necessarily in that order either.
who keeps calling Alan Wake all these random author names.
And I apologize for that. I really should just keep
Got you now, Stephen King. You'll never get away, H.P. Lovecraft. You can't outrun the law, Anne Rice. What a monster are you, Tom Clancy? Oh. Someone thinks they're... Can't tell if you're talking about the G-Man or my stream title, because I think both are equally as unclever as each other. Okay. What am I doing here? Okay, we're off-roading. We're going this way. Tom Clancy a good writer? I've read 2 Tom Clancy books when I was in like middle school and high school. I read The Hunt for Red October, and I read Patriot Game. And they are long books, and it took me pretty much an entire year, because I'm not a very fast reader, in order to read all the way through them. But I thought they were pretty good. It's very, it's basically like intelligence espionage stuff with a little bit of like action here and there that mainly revolves around a CIA analyst named...
Even during daytime, I was being stalked. The bridge must have collapsed only moments after I'd crossed it.
I think The Hunt for Red October is one of his most popular ones. Yeah, I think I believe it is too. And funny enough, I've never actually seen that movie all the way through before. Fuck. That's also a weird one, because in most Tom Clancy movies, they had Harrison Ford play CIA agent Jack... His name escapes me. I'm braining pretty hard. But yeah, Harrison Ford usually played the CIA agent character. That's the hero of most of the stories. Do I think Tom Clancy picked Ford? I'm not actually sure what we're talking about here. Interesting is he created the Clancy universe before everyone did the whole shared universe thing. Yeah. Oh, right. I remember, yeah. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is unfortunate. Uh, Point of note, I don't actually have a driver's license in real life. And I probably shouldn't get one because of shit like this. Okay. But no, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Because, like, he had his CIA agent guy, and then he had his characters from, like, Rainbow Six, which are driving a car is different in real life. I have actually been taught a few times how to drive. I just live in a small town where everything's very easily within walking distance. So I've never seen much of a reason to actually go out of my way to get a driver's license. Plus, for the most part, I can't afford, like, upkeep on a car, car insurance, gas, all that nonsense that comes with it. Must be nice. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so I believe this is the right way. Oh, hey. It actually put my Jeep back on the ground. I don't think this works very well anymore, though. Does public commute exist in America? Yeah, I mean, we have buses that run around. And we also have, like, taxis and stuff like that. We got ways to get around even if you don't have cars. I think it's not as widespread as Europe. You're probably right. You can get buses across country. Yeah, I mean, I went backwards, didn't I? Yeah, I gotcha. Here you can get buses to take you to, like, other towns inside the same state sometimes. But yeah, nothing like a bus that goes... Okay, well, no, actually, we do have Greyhound buses here in America that are meant to travel across state lines and stuff like that. Do we have trains? America does have trains, but they're not very prevalent most of the time. There's, like, only very specific places that have passenger trains, to my knowledge. Honestly, one of the things I wanted to do in my life was travel to Europe at some point and ride one of those cross-country trains. Oh, you don't sound dumb. You sound like you're somebody who lives in a different part of the world and is curious about things that are happening in a different part of the world. There's nothing dumb about that. Believe me, I'm kind of dumb about other parts of the world, too. Here, Sweden has a very effective commute system. Right on.
Welcome back to KBF FM. Hope you enjoyed that tune.
Okay, so there was nothing up here. I don't think supplies are really going to start showing up until nightfall actually happens. We have to actually, like, get there. But yeah, I always wanted to travel to Europe and take one of those cross-country trains. I think that would just be fun. Actually, I really enjoy traveling because I just like to look out the window and watch scenery go by, honestly. That's like my favorite part of riding Greyhound buses around America. COVID made travel hard. Yeah. It's more extreme for you guys over in the UK. But, I mean, kind of in a good way. Because clearly you guys care more about, like, wanting to stop the spread of it. Meanwhile, here in America, people just decided that we were bored of COVID, so we're only kind of making a deal about it anymore. Then everybody wonders why COVID cases keep spiking. I'm all vaccinated, and I wear my mask anytime I go into a store. So, you know, I'm staying safe. Other people want to, you know, oh, I'm not going to say that. That's just... Mom used to regularly go to the Polish
I
markets.
was supposed to meet the kidnapper at noon in the main building.
Take a bus in the
coal
morning and be
mine was
back by
quiet.
5 a.m.
It was a museum now.
And COVID regulations probably made that a lot harder, I'm guessing. People there are also weird about it. Now, I just want to preface what I'm about to say by saying, you know,
I didn't want to go outside.
the spread of misinformation is really widespread. Yes.
The noon sun turned the place into a sauna.
People who think they know better than doctors are throwing around
Different scenarios ran through my
their
mind.
own version
Ways
of
how
things
I'd
on the
tortured
internet,
kidnapper to
and
get Alice back, or the different horrible things he could have done to her.
social media
I imagined
almost
her
has
dead.
more of an
I had no
impact
way
than
of
like
knowing she was still
actual
alive. It was
well-trusted
killing me.
information these days. Slovakia has
I
low
was running on
vaccination
blind
rates.
hope. It was all a waste of time. The bastard
Towns
never
in
showed
Parliament
up.
aren't making it better. Yeah. Sure you guys are aware we had some troubles like that in our government.
Where the
Like
hell
not
are you?
like
Change of plan.
last year pretty
You know where
much.
Mirror
Up
Peak
until
is?
last
It's a
year.
big mountain north of where you are. You follow the path from the mine, you can't miss it. There's a lookout point there. I'll be waiting.
I'm through being jerked
You
around by
want to
you.
see your wife alive? Because if you do, you better watch what you say to me. Do we understand each other?
I want to talk to Alice.
Yeah, and I want the manuscript. Don't keep me waiting, Wake.
Hello? Hello?
Dude,
I'm gonna kill him.
that dude doesn't know is that I
I
can
had
never
to
get
to
him
Mirror Peak.
the full manuscript. He doesn't understand. I'd have to play this game on nightmare mode in order to have full access to get all the manuscript pages.
It was close. Maybe closer than ever before.
Yeah. I mean, so these missing pages that have the little orb next to them, those are only ones you can get in nightmare difficulty. But you can't play nightmare until you've beaten the game on normal. You can open up, is it here? Game's full of that shit. I don't think... I think some of it is a bit more story stuff. I think they'd change it for the remaster. Yeah, I wish they just had all the difficulties modes unlocked from the beginning. Does it change the ending? I don't know. I've only played a little bit of Nightmare mode on the 360 version of it. Okay, what am I... Oh, right, you know what? I can do that. I can jump. I keep forgetting that. I think some of it is kind of story stuff, but other stuff is just like weird, silly, kind of, maybe some behind the scenes stuff or character breaking stuff. I can't remember entirely. Forcing me, or rather punishing me for not committing to it. Mega Man 8 did that. Oh, X8, okay. Right, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about, because in X8 there was an extra final boss fight, but only if you were playing on the hardest difficulty. I know what you mean. Yeah, I was confused there for a second. I'm like, I played through Mega Man 8. I don't think I remember anything like that. A little sad that they'll never... Well, I mean, never say never. Even without Keiji Inafune, Capcom does love monetizing Mega Man again, so, you know. Blair. Maybe we'll get an X9 at some point. Doubt it, yeah. But I've seen strange things happen, so I don't say it's impossible. Just say it's unlikely. Anyone left Capcom due to Japanese stubbornness and honor crap, they refused to acknowledge Mega Man bit for a bit until 11. Yeah, that's true. And Command Mission is the furthest in the timeline. I really liked Command Mission. I thought it was pretty neat how they made like a Mega Man X RPG. When I first played through that game, I actually got stuck on it towards the end. Yeah, so underrated. Because I didn't realize that for one of the cutscenes that triggers the end game, you had to go like up on the roof of the like headquarters building. So I did so much grinding and like looking around for secrets before I finally accidentally discovered the way to the end game. Oh. There's some possessed shit in there that's bumping around. You know what? There you go. Nope. Okay. Uh-oh. Ow. I fucking hate these poltergeist objects. There's no good way to dodge them, and they don't burn away easily. Like how X8 revealed it wasn't just the Sigma virus, but the Reploids could choose not to obey humans and had free will. Made it so interesting. Yeah, I suppose they finally got the... Dr. Light finally got the world he wanted, where robots could choose to live how they wanted, and then they still chose to be evil, a lot like humans do sometimes.
What the hell?
There we go. To finish Final Fantasy 15 and start Lost Odyssey. I have a mixed opinion of Lost Odyssey.
The only way to reach the hillside ahead was to go through the building. I had to find a way to avoid electrocution.
There's mostly a lot of things I don't really care for it, but there's a few things I like. Rep loves it. Right on. I can see why people like it. You've never played it? Okay. I won't I won't say anything to try to color your judgment, because most of what I don't like comes down to personal taste and like story and characters and stuff like that. Chad's tried it on the Series X. I will say that played years ago on disc 2 and got our 360 red ringed. I think I made it over to disc 3, and that's where the game actually lost me, or maybe it was only disc 2. God, there's so many of them coming. The only thing I'll say gameplay-wise that didn't really thrill me was that everything in that game takes, or every battle in that game takes so long. Like, standard enemy encounters should not... Enemies that you can basically one-shot, encounters like that should not take as long as that game makes them take. And that might be my only, like, gameplay-related gripe about it. Otherwise, gameplay-wise, I think it's great. I need more ammo. But the rest of it is a lot of, like, personal gripes. Stuff about the story, stuff about the characters. I do like the fact that the one human guy you get on your team early on, Jensen, he, the bloom and blur on the way too much side. Games back when they were so full of bloom, yeah. They were like, this is HD graphics, and you're like, I can't see, and they're like, yes, it's beautiful, isn't it? And you're like, I don't know, I can't see. Yeah, the human character of Jensen in Lost Odyssey, I really liked him. He's got a very, like, fast-talking, snark type of personality. He's very much like, kind of like if James Woods existed in a JRPG scenario. I mean, I guess he kind of does, because Hades is in, freaking Kingdom Hearts. No! Ow, ow, ow. Back off! No. No. Even flashbangs don't finish those things off. See James Woods having way too much fun, also in Family Guy being a dick. Definitely my favorite quote from anyone of all time about James Woods is someone talking about his role in Disney's Hercules, where they're like, yeah, I think James Woods is perfect as Hades, Not because I think he does a great job or anything, because I honestly, truly believe that he is evil. Is what they said about him. Fuck. I don't have the ammo for an all-out, like... Oh, you know what? I got flare guns. I got flare gun ammo. It just... Didn't that occur to me sooner? Okay. So maybe I actually do have the fucking... the chutzpah for this fight. Burn! Okay. And I'll be honest, while I think it's funny, I don't actually understand why people think he's James Woods is evil. OG Greek stories from what I call Hades just really did his job. I get you, man. Oh, you fucking kidding me? God. Wow. This fucking part. This was more of a dick than his brother. Howdy. If you ever want to like talk about Greek mythology of the gods and deities and stuff, you can always just talk to Kat. She loves that, and she loves that stuff, and she's basically the resident expert on it around here. Love mythology. I think mythology is interesting. Oh. Oh. Okay. Let's see what we can do here without really having to rely on our heavy assets. Greeks invented superheroes, basically. Yeah. You could make a pretty strong argument about that, pretty much. Stuff like Hercules and Odysseus and Jason and the Argonauts and stuff like that. And like I'm trying to think of his name, and I fought him like 100 god Perseus. Such. Whoa! Okay, got it. Even more. Even though the new gods pretty much had no empathy for humanity, and the gods that did were always punished. Yeah, like Prometheus. He just wanted mankind to have fire and knowledge. And for that, he gets to have his guts pecked at by, like, vultures and stuff for the rest of his eternal life. Should play Dante's Inferno. I mean, as far as I know, the way Twitch's TOS stuff works, as long as it's a AAA game, Booba and Johnson's are just fine. It's only stuff that exists in like mods for games and stuff that get you banned. They have a list of banned games. Oh yeah, they do have a... That's right. Aw, man, now the people have fire and they don't fear us. Well, shit. They say if the sex and boobs are in context, it's fine. Yeah. 73K. Like The Witcher. And I guess like Cyberpunk 2077 as well. I've seen some like gratuitous scenes in that. The ever-looming threat of Saga Frontier continues to hang over my head. Look around here. Actually, you never saw that game? Oh. Oh, you've never heard of Saga Frontier. Okay. So, Saga Frontier, weirdly enough, the Saga series is a game series from Square Enix that has existed longer than you probably even know. You might have heard of like the Romancing Saga games that were for like the old Super Nintendo and stuff like that. But there was a Trust No One in the dock. But there was a series for the Game Boy that were like the original Saga games. And they're basically what makes them Saga games is that growth in those games is not so much level based as much as your stats just kind of increase after battle. Final Fantasy tried their hand at this way of doing things at least once. It wasn't super great. But if you've ever played Final Fantasy Legend 1 or 2 for the Game Boy, or even Legends 3, you were playing Saga games. And Saga Frontier 1 and 2 came out for the PS1. FF2 Pixel Remaster fixes the issues with that system. Oh, neat. But yeah. Like other stats now don't go down. Oh, shit. See, I played through FF2 a long time ago, and I had fun with it right up until the last area, where the final boss has incredibly powerful physical attacks that leech health, and there's also a hidden boss just randomly in one of the treasure chests. Well, I say randomly, it's in the same place, but there's no build up to it. It's just there, and it's actually slightly more powerful than the final boss. And outside of the pixel remasters and possibly other remakes, you could only save on the outside, which means that you were... And the last area is 2 dungeons back to back with no outside spots, so no saving. So I'm through one dungeon and 75% through the other dungeon, and I just open this chest and get attacked by fucking Astaroth, who fucking destroys me utterly. And I'm like, oh, well, there goes 2 hours of fucking progress. I tried very hard to remember where that chest was the second time I went through. Only to find out that the final boss pulls the same shit that Astaroth was pulling, just not quite as well. But anyways, back to Saga Frontier was a game for the PS1. Saga Frontier 1 and 2 actually came out in America. And they feature storytelling where you play as various characters. Sadly, their stories, while there is a tiny bit of overlap, their stories really aren't connected by any kind of threads. They just all live in the same universe, and you play through the stories of 7 different characters. Or in the case of Saga Frontier Remastered, they actually added an 8th one.
Company equipment.
In Saga Frontier, actually, the stories were more intertwined. There's multiple characters and stuff like that. The same. But the one thing all these games have in common is that they have monster classes that you can have on your team, and the monster classes are always consistently the worst. Because the way monsters work in those games is that they basically have the stats and strength of like the equivalent monsters you fight throughout the game that are of the same type. And when you defeat enemies, sometimes they drop meat. You have your monster eat the meat and it will change. Now, it's not random, but I've never bothered to look into if somebody like did the math to figure out how to get specific monsters or anything like that. I've just mostly accepted that it's going to be the way it's going to be. And the way it's going to be is awful, and so I don't use monsters if I can help it. But yeah. I guess... I'm sure someone did the math. Yeah, I'm sure that someone did the math too. The real long and short of it is that back before I was streaming, I actually, on my YouTube channel, did a really long Let's Play of the entire thing. And it took me a while because that game is not necessarily long, but at least in the original PS1 incarnation is a rather tedious and troublesome affair. Or at least it felt that way. There are parts of that game I love and adore so much, and I have so much fun with, and then there are other parts that just drive me up the fucking wall. Let's Plays are more scripted, but it's interesting how Twitch made Let's Plays obsolete. Yeah, it kind of did. I mean, Let's Plays are always more like edited down content with that tries to improve the focus of what you're watching, whereas streams are just kind of raw, let's do stuff and chat type stuff. I actually love the chat interaction I get out of a stream more than I do just always sitting down and recording like 15 minutes to an hour of like gameplay. Always, this is something that I've found very preferable since I've started streaming. You love long plays? Yeah. Plays are alright. When I want to know what the ending of a game looks like, or just how to get past a certain part, but I don't want to hear people talking, I'll check out a long play.
I had no real plan. I was going to give the kidnapper all the manuscript pages I had for Alice. If that wasn't enough, I'd hold him at gunpoint and make him talk.
Oh, you don't have a plan. I like that plan. Great plan. Ellen. Rifle for the shotgun? No, I think the rifle's actually better. No plan is best plan. That's what fucking Snow from Final Fantasy 13 always taught me. Even though Snow was pretty much a certified dumbass who often made things worse than better. Ah! Shoot. But he's very loyal. He is. Team Map happy finished 13, saying the ending made bullshit worth it, maybe. Oh, right on. Yeah, I missed the, I missed his stream. I was like, oh, he's streaming. And then I popped in and it was at the end when you guys were already just planning to raid somebody. I was like, well, crap. Shoot. Okay. I think the way I was trying to go is probably secrets and more items.
I was going to give the kidnapper all the manuscript pages I had for Alice. If that wasn't enough, I'd hold him at gunpoint and make him talk.
You have flares and a flare gun. Maybe I'll see what that can do. You're gonna work your way through SMT 1. The momentum of me dodging carried me off a cliff. No, you're good. That wasn't really you.
I had no real plan. I was going to give the kidnapper all the manuscript pages
Work
I
your way
had
through
for
SMT
Alice.
1 and 2
If that
after you
wasn't
finish
enough,
Like a Dragon.
I'd hold him at
That's cool.
gunpoint and make him talk.
Yep, I liked Like a Dragon, but as much as I like the RPG stuff in it, I hope if they continue the series, they'll kind of like well, okay. So I suppose I should explain my my issue with it is mainly just the Yakuza games are already kind of long-winded enough games. There's a lot to them. They can already take a good chunk of time to get through them. And Like a Dragon just kind of doubles down on that length by making it an RPG as well. Judgment's not really your jam. Huh. Now that being said though, I did absolutely enjoy my time with Like a Dragon. I just hope the pace of like the RPG battle stuff and it gets kind of quickens in future installments. Judgment's fine, but it doesn't have the charm that Yakuza has. You'd be hard pressed to find a game in that style that has characters that mesh with their story in as charming a way as like Kiryu in the gang. It's more serious. Well, here's the thing about other Yakuza games, and is that like the story is the serious, dramatic, plot-driven part, and all the side stories are just like super wacky filler, pretty much. It's delicious filler too. Find it's funny it's called Yakuza Like a Dragon. Oh yeah, because in Japan the series is called Ryuga Gotoku, which literally means like a dragon. I know what you mean. As much as you like your time with Yakuza 1 and 2, you do like the RPG system 7 more. That's fair. That's perfectly fine. I think my favorite games in the series are, I think, 0, 2, 5, and 6, I think. 1's alright, but it's like, it takes itself a bit more seriously, even in the side quest department. And it's... And I mean, I say this in an endearing way, and it's absolutely like this on purpose, but it's like very much the most box standard kind of Yakuza game you can get. Uh, 3 also kind of was like that. And Yakuza 4 became good, but
the dark presence was moving.
It's just kind of a thing where you're so used to having Kiryu around that when you don't,
was it going for Alice?
you kind of, it takes a bit of time to warm up to the characters they give you instead. The one guy who always tried to scam people by bumping into them pretending to get injured is a funny side quest. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
Shift may cause cancer.
You say something about something causing cancer? Oh, it's a boss guy. That's why he's zipping around like the Flash and giving me verbal health warnings about the dangers of fucking, I don't know, smoking or some shit like that. Like, it takes a while to do, but I absolutely recommend like putting some time in, even just on your own time, and going through more of the Yakuza games, because most people have actually played 0 and Kiwami 1, but like the other ones are so good too, particularly the remasters of like 3, 4, and 5, and 6 is really great. You didn't play 0? 0? Is he really Flash trailer? Oh, right on. Yeah. 0's kind of that game that decided to be a little more loose with it decided to intentionally be a bit more wacky, basically. And it kind of brought the series back to life when it was a bit on its doorstep after Yakuza 5. The games weren't selling well over here in America. It's a shame because they were good. But Zero like piqued people's interest again. And then they played Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2, and then the remasters came out. Actually, that's not quite how the series of events went. It was like Kiwami 1, then Yakuza 6, then Kiwami 2, and then the remasters. Now if Rock is going to play Black Adam and Shazam in his own movie, seems he's a real fan of comics and the character. Right on. I liked the first Shazam. I thought it was really good.
The place was dead, a ghost town. Had been for decades, maybe a century.
It's funny how DC is like, oh, look at that. We finally made it a profitable DC movie when all we had to do was stop trying to be so gritty and edgy and drown everything in like a gray visual filter. Stop being Marvel. Like, DC often tries to be too dark and edgy, tries to be the far end of the spectrum, but at the same time, Marvel also continuously plays it too safe, for the most part. They do have a couple of really good, like, movies, but mostly it's all kind of a bit samey, but it's all of a consistent good quality, and I don't know if I'd rather have, like, a couple of amazing movies among piles of trash, or if I'd rather just have everything be kind of like at a slightly above standard level. What I find interesting are the developers fighting interest groups to keep Kiryu because young people don't want to play as old farts, blah 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 blah. Like, Kiryu has to step down at some point. If we keep making Yakuza games starring Kiryu, he's gonna be fucking... he's gonna be smashing bikes over people's heads well into his 70s and 80s. How's the remaster? Oh, hey, King Skeletor. Welcome in, man. It is actually really good. It's very much this... It's almost exactly the same game. They just, you know, sharpened up the graphics. It brought it into 4K. Oh yeah, I'm sure they improved the frame rate of it as well. That as well. Seems the frame rate is better on the PS. Good. I mean, I still have the 360 version of this, but I couldn't resist actually doing this when I heard they were doing a remaster. I was so fucking excited about that. I actually watched a video that talked a lot about the development of Alan Wake and stuff like that. You know, they actually made like an in-house like American Nightmare part of the remaster. Sadly, no. The remaster is just the core game along with the 2 DLCs for it. Fellas are prepared for all the Wario content coming. Right on, man. I fucking love the Wario series. Ah! The dumpsters. But yeah, got the Virtual Boy one working. Nice. That's a great one I've seen. Do you know they made an engine for this game that was supposed to that simplified building levels and stuff, because they could just set down stuff like roads and other stuff into their map, and their engine would auto fill in stuff around it, like making grass and stuff around the edges of the road. Thought that was pretty smart and cool on their part. Feel alright about Wario. Ones you like the most were the Game Boy ones. Mario Land 3 Wario Land, I have never beaten because that one's plays more like a traditional Mario Land game, and it's kind of a lot harder than the other ones. I've beaten Wario Land 3, 4, I've beaten Wario World on the GameCube. Wario World is really good. I love giving enemies the spinning pile driver. Have a rotten day. Got the Game Boy ones, Virtual Boy, the Wii one. Nice. The Wii one's supposed to be really good. I think Scarecrow played it last year. We'll wrap it up with Wario World. Right on. I think Wario World was co-made with the company Treasure. And it's hard, but it's also good and a lot of fun. It looks good, yeah. They decided, for the Wii one, they didn't want any, like, normal pixel graphics, so I think all the character sprites are drawn in, like, traditional animation and stuff. Because they wanted it to have a different feel from the other Wario games. Didn't have a reworked extra boss for the Japanese version because it came later. I know there are some differences in the Japanese version. I think one of the bosses, maybe even the final boss of the Japanese version of Wario World, actually had extra phases instead of the American release that just repeated some of the phases over and over again. I think that's what it was. I could be wrong. There's probably more to it than that. Yeah, Wario World has some serious fucking platforming challenges in it. Really good.
Anything outside of riding is a struggle. I feel ill. I managed to make my way downstairs. There's a shoebox filled with books and papers by Thomas Zane. It's very hard to focus, but I managed to read some of it. He's a poet, and a good one. He writes of muses and creators summoning fabulous things from a magic lake, using his powers to shape the world of a realm of gods and dreams and demons, dark things that wait for a chance to slip through, wearing the flesh of men as disguise. Zane writes about himself, his girlfriend being taken over by a dark presence, about growing scared of the lake. Zane believes it's a mirror to the gaping void of darkness above, where some Lovecraftian presence lurks. I crawl back upstairs. I'll borrow these things for my story. They ring true. They fit.
Ah. So perhaps we're dealing with fucking ancient eldritch gods, too. Alan Wake, or how many writer and book references can we reference in one game? Yeah, right? Switch to the hunting rifle. Oh, I had the shotgun. So much Stephen King in this game, yeah. They were just talking about eldritch entities, so that's like H.P. Lovecraft inspired too. But yeah, demons wearing the faces of men and such like that. That is very like Stephen King type fare as well. Well as like alternate dimension shenanigans. What we need now is for someone to tell Alan Wake that his entire world is resting on the back of a giant turtle that's flying through space.
The message was full of spelling errors and insults. It was telling me to hurry up.
He was getting sick and tired of waiting. And he couldn't spell well. Howdy, Kite. Didn't his wife write some of them under his name? Can't remember. That does sound like a plot point, though. Yeah, I think maybe his wife had ghostwritten a few things for him. How goes it today, Kite? Having a good day so far, man? Just,
Birds.
Birds. Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. You doing alright so far? Right on. Come on! Come on! Come kill me! I'm right here! Come on! Being a ghostwriter must be so weird. You know, if it's a good ghostwriting relationship, I imagine the ghostwriter just likes to write and doesn't really care all that much about being recognized for their stuff. They'd rather stay out of the public eye. But that's in the case of like a good ghostwriter, good ghostwriting relationship. Maybe he doesn't want to be recognized. Yeah. So long as he gets paid nicely in royalties, yeah. As long as he's being treated right, yeah. Being a ghostwriter is just fine. Hey, we made it to the mine. Danger. Well, cool. We're not getting out. It's not so bad dying in a mine. Find my body. I hope they bury me in my tweed jacket. Unless you're the ghostwriter stuck helping teens solve mysteries. Right. I used to watch that all the time when I was a kid. I even had at least one book of it. You play MGS3, the bees button will be bees turn. Oh yeah. Oh, don't I know it? Hey, Ghostwriter, who's been, you want to help us find out who's been stealing funds from the school charity? Help me find Rest. No, no, no. You're gonna help us solve a case of petty theft first. King has never had a ghostwriter. Cocaine, Alcoholic King, and post-cocaine, Alcoholic King. Writing styles are very different. When I think of Stephen King, two different types of like stories come to mind. You have the very tense, dark, like character-driven dramas that sometimes have a bit of the supernatural in them, and then you just have spooky, silly monster stories. I mean, there's definitely some nuance in between those two things, but I mostly just see it in that binary way. Oh, shoot. This man just chopped down this door just to tell me that, you know, being safe is nothing cooler than safety. The movie Dreamcatcher is nothing like the book. Dreamcatcher! That was the... Oh, man, me and Kat were talking about that movie the other day, because it was like a kind of a sequel to Tommyknockers, and I couldn't remember the name of it. Worm goes up your ass and then you die, yeah. The toilet that killed him. This was at night. Yeah. You know, I don't think I want a pet toilet monster. Just saying. That's evil. That's actual Evil Dead canon. Oh, fuck. Okay. I haven't watched the Evil Dead movies in a long time.
I'd have to make my way up this mine shaft in order to go
Nostalgia Critics reviews
Maybe
of
the machinery could help
some
me
of
with
King
that.
Stevie's miniseries and movies. Oh man. Speaking of using movie stuff to scare kids. When my nieces, I have a couple of nieces, and when they were real little, motivate them to. Oh, this was a chosen one? Oh, one of my nieces, we were watching the original Matrix, and she really didn't like the scene where they put the fucking parasite thing in Neo's stomach. And so we just used to tell her all the time, we're like, you better be good, you're gonna put a bug in your belly. She'd be like, oh, and cover her stomach and run away. It was probably a little mean, but it's alright. She grew up suitably weird, so it's fine. You know, it's funny because my nieces always tell me they thought I was a great uncle, and I don't see it. I think it's just because I played with them a whole lot, and they didn't really care how that went down. Like, one of them would hold a pillow in front of her, and she'd keep running at me. She was like a real tiny munchkin back then, and I'd just keep like pushing her away with my fist. Skeletor's always wanted a bug in his belly. And so she kept being like, punch the pillow harder, punch it harder. And so finally she comes running at me, and I'm just like, okay. And just, I wind up and just, wham! Punch the pillow square in the middle. And she went flying backwards. And I felt so bad instantly. But she was just fine. she giggled about it a bunch, and she's like, "Do it again," and I'm like, "No, no, we're not doing that again." Someone calls CPS. Like, they're both... One of them's an adult, and the other one, I believe, is either, like, high school age, or she might actually be, just about 18 by now. I'm going to rate myuncle.com and giving me a rating of 1 star. I'm gonna give you a poor rating on whatever the uncle version of the uncle equivalent of Yelp is. Because I'm not the creepy uncle. That I am not. I'm just the uncle that's strong enough that my nieces saw me as a human jungle gym. I'd walk through the door and they'd wrap themselves around my legs, and I had to try to, like, slowly lift up one leg to make it, like, a couple inches forward at a time. Have no nieces or nephews.
Damn.
Yeah, burn crows. Right way. That creepy uncle? Well, how creepy was your uncle? Ah, he really liked horror movies and shit. Really weird. How creepy is Dan Schneider when he plays with your feet? Oh no. No.
Oh, great. Another cable car. Just great.
You know who would be the most horrific, like, real life horror duo possible? Would be like Dan Schneider and fucking Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino would probably not like Schneider. Yeah, probably right. Tarantino's got a bit of a foot fetish, but I mean, seems like an alright guy. He just loves this hyper violence is all. Oh, fuck. That almost dumped me out there for a second. I love the interview that I saw of Tarantino once. You see, did scar you when you saw it. For me, it was the scarab scene in The Mummy. A movie scene that made me really uncomfortable and I hated was from Saving Private Ryan. Like, towards the end, one of the final big battles. There's a soldier who has, like, a one-on-one against a German soldier, and he loses. And the German soldier very, very slowly plunges a knife into his chest. And I fucking hate that scene so much.
Shit.
Because, like, it fills me with this feeling of, like, helplessness. Like, there was literally nothing he could do, and that guy was just shushing him as he was slowly murdering him. Whichever movies told me if I worked hard and never gave up, I would grow up and be happy and successful. So basically, Will Smith scarred you for life? What are you talking about? You're Twitch famous? Yeah, Kite, you're small-time Twitch famous, man. No, I got you, though. So every Disney movie ever. So, one thing, though, like, when I was a kid, my parents didn't seem to care what I watched. So I actually did watch, like, a whole lot of, horror movies and stuff. I saw the likes of Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Saw fucking, I remember Poltergeist was actually a movie I liked a lot as a kid. Oh, fuck. If you were traumatized by Inside Out, the scene where he breaks down and he has mixed happy and sad memories. Oh. Huh. I guess different things will do it. They refuse to watch the movie. I had a bit of a weird psychology about that as a kid. Because the kid in the original Pet Sematary. Oh, that's right. I saw that movie when I was an adult. And yeah, like towards the end, the stuff with that little, like, toddler running around and attacking people was really freaky to me, too. The original Exorcist fucked you up as a kid. You know what? I guess, like, one of the original Child's Play movies, the ones with the Chucky movies, like a couple of, like I think Child's Play 1 or 2 really bothered me a little bit because, you know, as a kid, you're like, man, what if my toy really did try to fucking kill me? The scene where the clown is choking the kid, real in Poltergeist. Toy malfunction, and people didn't notice it first until he was turning blue. Oh shit! A friend over and that ran us a movie. He goes, "Do you guys want to watch a real scary movie?" I said, "Hell yeah!" Be back. Just 1 second. I always thought the Chucky movies were silly. How can a doll overpower a human? Well, as an adult, I see it that way. But as a kid, I'm like, man, what if my toys were actually trying to kill me? Yeah, a little bit of trivia. Most of you probably already know this. That chestburster scene, nobody else but the director and the guy who was gonna do the stunt knew that that chestburster scene was gonna happen. Yeah, And so all of their reactions are 100% legitimate, what the fuck fear. They also only had one shot to do it. That is true. One fainted. See him ripping his shirt a bit off. Please, no. Just let me cross the bridge. You won't stop me! Oh, shit. Wasting flares here on just a single dude. The prop wouldn't burst through. Luckily it did. Yeah. Got him. Hooray for overkill. The one lady actor fainted. You can see it if you look. Oh. Huh. I'll have to rewatch that sometime and see if I could see that. Yeah, I like little bits of like behind the scenes movie trivia like that. Even if I don't always agree with the stuff that like is happening behind the scenes. In the case of Alien, I think it's fine. Probably a little bit of a dick move to not clue the other actors in. So they actually thought something was wrong for like half a second. But at the same time, you know, it worked. They got the shot that they needed and like no one died. But stuff like how on the set of the movie The Shining, Stanley Kubrick like told everyone to not be nice to Shelley Duvall so that she could have like a genuinely stressed and so that she would be genuinely stressed when she was on screen, so he could get like genuine emotion out of it. Time for you to head to work. All right, man. See you later. They're all good actors because they all improvise on the spot. Yeah, indeed. I say Kubrick is a cunt. He is. His never-ending obsession with just perfection makes for good movies, but also makes him an enormous asshole. I don't know. Hollywood's kind of an upside down land where normal human moral values don't really apply as much. At least in some cases. Oh, well, howdy, guys. Flare for your thoughts? Guys. Out. back off. But I couldn't see what I was really doing. Those World of Snowflakes, there are not as many new talented directors who want to put in the work. Yeah, I get you. In Home Alone, everyone did their own stunts. Ah. Right on. I never knew that. That's just another thing that makes me really appreciate that movie even more. Oh. Watch the movies that made us? Oh, the movies that made us. That's the name of the movie. Gotcha. It's on Netflix. It's fascinating. Right on. Yeah, I might have to see if I can give that a watch at some point. They have several movies. Oh. Home Alone 1 is really good. Yeah, Home Alone 1 is amazing. Someone wanted to just make
see Cauldron Lake. I thought I could make out the spot
a simple, like, holiday, a feel-good holiday comedy movie. And they decided to get, like, John Hughes to write the story for it. And John Williams to do the score.
Now. I had to get there fast. I dreaded
That one of the Christmas made us. The Home Alone episode of movies. Huh. They had to move sets because Fox were dicks and Touchstone saved them, and the Fox's jelly was a hit.
Hey, I'm here! I'm coming!
Yeah, they put in an exceptional amount of work for what would just have what just could have easily have been just another, like, forgettable, like, holiday comedy movie. Ooh, actually, I have a little bit of a neat story right after this cutscene. Alan Wake's a live version of Kingdom Hearts. Fucking Simple and Clean starts to kick in. Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci were brilliant. Yeah, they were. One scene where they fall off the steps covered in ice. The fall looked nasty. He was really freaked out. He waves to him. Nah, it's fine. Continue.
Previously on Alan Wake, I'm hunted by the law.
Sheriff, Wake's running. I'm giving chase.
Are you seriously telling me that writer just took out my deputies?
A thriller I supposedly wrote is coming true. The genre of the story seems to be shifting. It's turning into a horror story. I was told that Alice had been kidnapped, but that was a lie.
We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is.
Her purported kidnapper was eaten up by the dark presence before it attacked me. 'Cause 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 'cause
Yeah, it's kind of sad that Daniel Stern didn't get much of a career after, like, Home Alone 2.
It's just a nightmare.
Alice.
There you go, Alan.
Hartman. I fell.
I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period.
What?
This is the
Right
crazy
now,
house
it's
part,
very
yeah.
important that you stay
This is
calm.
the,
I don't want
like,
you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been.
yeah,
for
mental
a while.
clinic part.
The shock of your wife's death triggered a mental illness.
No, you lying.
You're suffering from various symptoms of undifferentiated schizophrenia.
Bastard.
It's okay, Alan. Just let go.
Yeah, but I guess that because he was just basically
groggy. Whatever Hartman had bumped in me
the
was making
silly,
me numb.
like, comic
I felt
relief
like this was
character
happening to someone else. Someone I was watching on
that
television.
was meant to do a bunch of,
Couldn't
like,
think. Couldn't focus.
like physical comedy parts and stuff. He was just good at it. That didn't work out. What on that typewriter? There he is.
Good evening, Alan. Are we feeling better now? Feeling calm?
Yeah. I see you brought your pet gorilla with you. So sure, I'm calm. I get the message. Loud and clear.
Quite right. That's the spirit. You're being very brave, Alan. I understand you're confused. I would be more concerned if you weren't suspicious of me. I don't blame you for it.
Big of you.
Now, why don't you come with me? We'll reacquaint you with my clinic and go over everything you might have forgotten. Little walk and some fresh air? Yes, it will do you good.
Okay, so the story I was going to tell right before the end of that last episode. John Williams worked on, like, the soundtrack of Star Wars and Home Alone and stuff like that. And no, I don't want to come out of my room. And I think there was a dude who usually did a lot of sound editing for John Williams. His name was Kenneth Wanberg. I actually got to meet Kenneth Wanberg at one point because the theater that exists in the town I'm in, the town I live in, they sometimes like to do extra, like, neat showings of stuff. And one Halloween, they were doing a show of an old, like, black and white German silent horror movie that was called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. So I went and I went there and checked it out. And live on a little stage in front of the movie screen, they had Kenneth Wanberg, who was playing the live soundtrack to the silent movie that we were watching. It was really fucking cool. And I was actually sitting next to his wife during the whole performance. Did you hear the story about the teen who found out where John Williams lived outside his house performing his songs? No. That's hilarious, though. It'd just be funny if he just poked his head out his door and he's like, "You think you could do my songs better than me?" Yeah, it was a cool experience. Got here. Oh. Well, here's the 360 turned into a not quite 360 system with a copy of Night Springs in front of it. That's cool. Yeah. That was really awesome. He actually came out and applauded. That's awesome. Yeah, that was weird. That was like years ago.
This corridor
I don't
is
think
for
they've done
patients.
anything
Most of them are
quite
here
that
right now.
awesome,
Jack took them out for a
like ever
fishing
again.
trip, except for the ones who are particularly vulnerable, of course. I encourage creativity.
But they do
as a part of
sometimes
the
do
recovery
reshowings
process
of
here
like
at Cauldron
older
Lake
movies.
Lodge. I
The
specialize in treating
Nintendo V,
artists.
I
right?
bet you do.
Splendid, Alan. I honestly believe we can get this thing under control if we work together. This way, Alan.
Yo, I loved Night Springs the show, but I thought the video game adaptation was a bit weak. They couldn't even get most of the voice actors to come back for it. That the one Ashens reviewed. Sure, there's quite a few fake Wii home consoles that he probably checked out.
Now, Alan, from past experience with you, I know I need to get right into the heart of the matter as quickly as I can after an episode. So I'm just going to say this. Alice is dead.
No.
You're in a very vulnerable state
No.
until you understand and accept this. Alice drowned, and you couldn't face that. You're suffering from hallucinations, paranoid delusions, unusual thinking, an obsession about light and darkness, a feeling that everything revolves around you, your thoughts and dreams. Your mind has constructed an elaborate fantasy scenario in which your writings are affecting reality. She has been kidnapped, and supernatural forces of darkness are trying to stop you. We go this way, Alan.
I wasn't ready for another shot, so I went along with it. He had to be lying. But under the influence of the drug he had given me, I had to fight not to believe his words.
It's all in your head. You've been making it up. Apart from the tragic accident with your wife, no one has been killed. Your delusions are just a manifestation of your subconscious mind trying to protect you.
Wait a second, this is starting to sound like Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Unless we fight the fantasy, it will return. I know the instinct is to resist me, but think about it.
Yeah, I guess the
Doesn't this
mindset
make
he's
far
calling
more
out
sense
does
than
kind of apply to
insane
Ichiban as well.
supernatural conspiracy you have concocted in your mind? You're a skeptic by nature, Alan. We both know this. Everything
Ichiban's
can
like,
be
no man, you gotta
explained
listen to me.
logically.
I walked over to a pile of garbage bags, and these dudes that were wearing garbage bags popped up and started fighting me. And they had like weird little bald kappa spots on the top of their heads. You're just making it up, Ichiban.
I never get tired of this view.
Like that time you said a guy literally turned into a
Cauldron
fucking
Lake spread
robot.
below us.
Or
I
you
could
fought
see
a
we were
gigantic
on the other side of the
Roomba.
lake. I thought I could make out the spot where Diver's Isle had been when I arrived with Alice. Now there was nothing but waves.
It seems there's a storm coming. Funny, I don't recall there being a mention of that in the weather forecast. Well, no matter. This way. Follow me. Alan, what I'm telling you is good news. Right now we're in control. Every time you have a relapse, it gets more
Did
and
they
more
yell,
difficult to discern from
"Sarah?"
the dark depths of your imagination. Not surprising, considering your profession. Imagination is what you work with. After all your nightmares, this should come as an immense relief to you. If it doesn't,
I did
why
actually
is
finish
that?
Yakuza Like a Dragon the
Because I'm
other day.
lying? Or because you don't want to admit that you're not well. It's very natural for you to think of me as your enemy. It's part
Wait,
of the
did I
elements,
watch-
after all.
Hartman
I'm the
obviously
one
loved
trying
his
to
own
bring you
voice.
out of the
His
world
words
you've
echoed.
constructed.
Did I watch
madly
what a
inside
bit?
my head.
But I
I
can't
dug my
do
nails
Referees.
into
Oh,
my hands to stay
You need
focused.
to work with me. Once you accept that, we can begin
Oh, Sara's
our
on my.
journey towards
Oh
your
man,
recovery.
I haven't. I actually.
Come along.
I have not
Let's
gone
go
back
inside.
and watched that in a while yet.
Here's the entrance to the office wing.
I'm
For
sorry,
staff only.
Shats.
You were impressed by my trophies when you first arrived here.
Actually, if anything, I actually watched
Outdoors,
a bit
man
of
versus
JoJo's
nature.
Bizarre Adventure, which I'd
Wonderful
never
stuff.
actually
Pretty damn
watched all that
wonderful,
much
yeah.
of before.
Scary, scary, scary.
Oh, dude, that just scared the shit out of me. Let me out of here! He did crawl over that couch, kind of like Killer
I'm a
Bob from
real
fucking
bad
Twin Peaks,
dreamer,
though.
Mister, you should be afraid of me. Don't want to run into me in the night, that's for sure.
Please, Emerson. Mr. Wake is confused enough as it is.
Yeah, you'd like me to go away so you won't be scared. But you can't just decide what kind of dream you have or when you have it.
Emerson,
Okay. Sorry. Boo.
that's Emerson. We're actually making some progress with him, I'm happy to say. He works on
Elbow
video
strike.
games.
Ooh, yeah.
It's trash, of course, but it does
I'll
involve
hit him
some
to the head.
small creative effort, which makes him receptive to my therapeutic methods.
Climb up the
No
chimney.
kidding.
I'm out of here. Fuck, I can't pull a reverse Santa Claus. Who's la la laing? Isn't this guy, is it? Oh no, it's that lady. Somewhere in here, I think there's a TV that plays an ad for Verizon
Hello.
commercial.
I've painted you.
Okay.
I was just struck by inspiration a couple of days ago. Dr. Hartman wanted me to paint landscapes, and that's what I was doing. But now I've been doing these things, a lot of them. The images just keep coming. Dr. Hartman likes them. He has them in his office.
Yeah.
He's been hanging up
He's
paintings of
very proud of me.
people's
He said I'm
terrified
getting
expressions
much
in his
better.
office.
I think I'm getting better.
Okay then. I mean, that's definitely not some kind of red flag. Shadow people, yeah. How do you like my gallery, Mr. Wake? I enjoy having paintings of fucking shadow people with terrifying faces on my wall. Indeed. What? That. Engaging new book by Dr. Emil Hartman, author of the best-selling Creative Flow, groundbreaking techniques, engagement therapy, TM, and the Flow, TM, explained in his own words. Now available in bookstores across the country. Okay. Can explore around a little bit more. There's a generator here.
Hartman had mentioned that the power had been acting up. Maybe that was the reason for the generator and the work light on the balcony. The generator hadn't been activated, and there was no key.
Key. Oh, there's another QR code. I think I'm pretty sure those weren't there in the original Alan Wake. I mean, they might have been. I don't think QR codes were as prevalent back then. Okay. Wonder if that was the TV that plays like the Verizon wireless commercial. They probably couldn't license again for the remaster.
Now, you might have noticed the typewriter in your room. You've been writing as a part of the therapy. As soon as you feel up to it, you should continue.
Oh, hey, these guys.
My rheumatism's killing me. There's a storm coming.
They're playing Night Springs, the
What a
board game.
storm. I hope it wipes this place off the face of the earth.
And these two are the Anderson brothers, Odin and Tor. They had a, how should I put this? A heavy metal band in the 70s
Odin
and
and Thor,
80s
yeah.
called Old Gods of Asgard. They even adopted new first names to complete the image of Viking gods. After the band broke up,
Odin
they lived
even
on a
has an eye
farm
patch.
nearby.
Oh yeah, huh?
They are, well, in advanced stages of dementia.
Thor has a little squeaky hammer.
Well cared for, TLC and all that. There's nothing more that can be done. I'm afraid that the rock and roll lifestyle has left its mark. Oh, that won't do.
They still seem like fun, chill dudes.
For now, Alan, the power has been acting up. I'm
Sadly,
gonna go
Night
check
Springs, the
on it.
board
We'll
game, does
continue
not
this.
look like a terribly complicated one.
Meanwhile, when you feel up to it, return
Oh, those
to
two
your
are referenced in Control?
really is for the
Oh.
best. Don't you think?
I'd like to bash his head in with a hammer.
That's cool.
He'd love to fish out our secrets, but
I need to
he
play
has no
Control at some
clue.
point.
He's
Fuck,
not
I need to play
crazy
Quantum
enough.
Break too.
Not crazy like us, Sonny. Yeah. Being crazy's a requirement, Sonny. Who else could understand
love Remedy's
the world
storytelling.
when it's like this? It takes crazy.
I'm Doll's
to
drunk
go
again. He won't open the
crazy.
Bifrost.
Sanest thing I've heard in a while.
Zane, you're all right, Tom. Hey, we like him, don't we, bro? He's got to go to the farm. The Anderson farm. Valhalla!
Before he said it, for some reason, I read that as the Anderson form. I'm like,
Crash course.
am I
All
gonna...
you need to know to get your head right. You need to find the message.
I will see my next level of power.
Gave me a
The
rap,
Anderson
but I
form.
kept it safe from these bastards.
My head was clearing up, or according to Hartman, I was sinking back into
Oh.
a fantasy.
Buddy,
I was convinced
welcome
he
back.
was lying to me
Welcome in, man.
about everything. Crazy or not, the Andersons made more sense.
Tom, you got any
Alan Wake is the
booze on
tits. I certainly enjoy the shit out of it.
No.
you? We have a stash of the special stuff at the farm. Our own formula. Local ingredients. Medicine clears your head right up. Makes you remember like moonbeams on the brain. Oh,
Probably talking about cocaine.
it's on the elbows. That's not very rock and roll.
That text collectibles are voiced. Yeah.
Hey, Sinclair. Dr. Hartman was worried about the power again. He's checking on it now.
Yeah, good thing he's not
Up here checking it out.
Well, he's the boss.
I may need a
Something's
hand here later
wrong.
on, Burge. The
I'm not
story
myself.
you know who jumped
It's hard to think that there's a shadow inside my head. I can only focus on writing. Everything else is a blur. I'm trapped in this cabin. Have been for days.
Can also mug at the
Always
camera.
dark outside. My editor is real. I saw her again. She's not human.
Getting tired of
It's
playing
not
text
human.
collectibles
A
in
dark
games.
presence is wearing
Doom
the
had him.
old woman's face. She was covered in clinging shadows. There's a hole in her chest where her heart should be. I think I've made a horrible mistake. I don't think I'm any closer to saving Alice. It's been lying to me, using me to get the story.
It is
across,
nice.
And the story will come true.
That games can flesh out their universes using like collectibles and log entries and stuff like that, but I'm with you. I would rather it be like at least voiced or told to me, and not so much just you picked up more papers. If you want to know more about what's going on, go ahead and give them a read. Don't drink so much and your writing will improve, Alan.
Hey, Wake, why don't you humor Dr. Hartman and give the writing a shot, huh? Typewriter's in your room.
I mean, okay. What's the worst that could
The
happen?
glare of the blank page in front of me hurt my eyes. My hands began to shake uncontrollably.
Voice acting can add another dimension to the story content in such journals. That is true. kind of like the audio logs and like the Bioshock games and stuff like that.
Hey, Wake, you stay here. I'm gonna go see what's up. You just keep doing what you're doing. Be cool, okay?
That can certainly add another layer of immersion and storytelling.
But it could be my only chance of getting out of here.
Mjolnir, wench. Yeah, this would only be as half as interesting without the voice acting. I agree. 'Cause with the voice acting, it's like you're actually getting in the thoughts of people's heads, or the thoughts of the inside the heads of the characters having the thoughts.
Fart hit her hard. If she was one of Hartman's goons, she had it coming.
Alan Wake's voice and face were provided by separate people. Oh, neat. I didn't know that. Well, they got a real ball peen hammer.
It's all yours, Tom. Seize your destiny. Come out and face the music, Birch. It's time
I had to get to Hartman's office. He had taken all my manuscript pages. That's where he'd been keeping
Maybe
them.
you could come out and beat our wrinkled, adult, diapered ass.
Get out here and face judgment from a couple of Asgardian gods. You chicken son of a bitch. Oh, that's not this way. There's literally a little mini compass that I'm not paying attention to. This is usually the case. You have a voice actor or a face performance actor. Hugo guy from Ghostbusters 2 also had separate voice actor. Yeah, you know what? I can see that.
The photo on the wall caught my attention. In it, the clinic staff was standing outside the lodge. I knew the
That's what
man
happened
next
with
to
Darth
Hartman.
Vader. Yeah, that's true.
He was the kidnapper.
James Earl Jones was the voice, but they needed someone substantially taller to be in the Darth Vader outfit. Actually, here's a funny thing.
The markings on the tape said they were recordings Hartman had made at the sessions with his patients. I saw Alice's name on one of them.
They made a video game adaptation. Well, actually, it wasn't even an adaptation. When X-Men 2 came out, they made a Wolverine standalone game for it. Like, X-Men 2 Wolverine's Revenge or something like that. And even though Hugh Jackman's face is on the cover of the game, and I think he's even, like... They tried to make the character look more like Hugh Jackman's character from the movie. Mark Hamill did the voice of Wolverine in that game.
Yes. Tell me, Mrs. Wake. What would you say to him if he'd
Feel sad for the actor.
I don't know. I want to say, I look at you, and it's not you. Just some stranger who resembles you. Looking out from behind your eyes, and I don't like that guy much.
Sometimes they just want a certain look.
But you don't ever say this.
They want a certain voice and a certain look, and those are apparently belong to two different people. If you think about it, Remedy games always mingled with other storytelling media. Max Payne had comic book cutscenes, and also like a film noir narrative style. Alan Wake was structured like a TV show and had the manuscript pages. Quantum Break had actual live-action TV show episodes in between chapters.
Well,
Yeah.
if you just get him here, I'll absolutely do my very best.
I think the TV show stuff is some of my favorite, like, little bits of extra content in, like, the Remedy games.
Sure to bear that in mind.
David Prowse was the original Vader. They tried using his voice as well, but it didn't fit. Why they went with James Earl Jones.
The phone call from
Yeah, okay, yeah, we were talking about Darth Vader. Dude, I have the Ghostbusters game. Speaking of the voice of Vigo the Carpathian from Ghostbusters, I have the Ghostbusters game for the 360, and in like the hub area of that game, like the Ghostbusters firehouse,
Seriously.
Barry?
Oh, hey, Barry.
Ow! About time.
They have the painting of Vigo the Carpathian in there. And you can, like, talk to him, and he'll say random lines. And I swear, I talked to him for like half an hour. And I don't think he said the same thing twice the whole time. I was like, how many fucking voice lines does it have?
Speaking of
Ghostbusters game was dope. It was.
Real hard time, but I had no clue where you were. That guy's
That's
crazy.
the real Ghostbusters 3.
And then I get a call from
Pretty
Hartman,
much.
that son of a bitch, who tells me you're here and I should come pick you up. But when I got here, 2 goons clobbered me and stuck
You're still
me in
kind of
there.
salty you couldn't play Cubert in the firehouse.
I stole it from the diner to piss off Rose after what she did to us. That'll teach her.
Yeah, that's a harsh punishment. Come on, pal.
About the only real gripe I kind of have about that Ghostbusters game, and this doesn't necessarily have much to do with the game's quality per se. Game features an arcade cabinet. You better let me play the game. Right. It would be nice, definitely. But the actors in the game, and I mean they're actors, not voice actors mostly, except for Bill Murray, who went on to voice like Garfield, but they do sound kind of like phoned in that game. Wolfenstein 2 had a Wolfenstein 3D arcade cabinet. I do miss games having like unlockable versions of like older games in them. Like Return to Castle Wolfenstein allowed you to unlock Wolfenstein 3D and stuff in it.
You're sliding back into the... Tell me one more lie.
Rather Wolfenstone 3D, where you play as a Nazi and fight communists.
Really, Wake? Come on, let's work together.
Or like
you have no idea. Shut up.
The first Ninja Gaiden game on the Xbox.
Get a car.
If you collected all the golden scarabs in there, you could unlock Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3, and even like the arcade version of it.
This is a mistake.
Instead of "Mein Lieben," they would shout "Mother Russia." That's great. Oh, well, the darkness got him. What the fuck? Still own Alan Wake Collector's Edition from 2010. I own just a normal version of the Alan Wake Physical Edition. Alan straight murdered that guy. He did, and he fucking smiled about it. Oh, I don't have the fucking flashlight. Ow! Oh. You just straight up fucking murdered that dude.
I needed light to get the possessed bookshelves out of my way.
It'll be the only time where you have a gun without a flashlight. Yeah, right? But mashing buttons. Burn! Well, this is kind of satisfying for me because I fucking hate possessed objects in this game. They're like some of the worst shit to deal with. Because yeah, usually you just don't have a flashlight or a gun. Oh, the generator broke down, didn't it? Fuck, I gotta restart it. I love this floating bear carving in the corner of the room that's just chilling. Not even hurting anybody. bear gave you Pushing Daisies vibes. Son of a bitch, how many times? Pushing Daisies was a crime comedy about a guy who could bring dead things back to life with his touch. Oh. I think I remember a... Was that a TV show? Because I think I remember a TV show that had that name. Still living in a... Never mind. TV show. The main character was played by the Elf King from the Hobbit movies. Oh. Bear's just like, what's up, bro? Just chilling here, Wake. Don't worry about us. I do like this though, because this is a good way that this game keeps things kind of fresh. Oh, here we go. Hang on a second. I'm gonna mute myself and turn this up so we can watch it.
Find yourself in the small town of Night Springs. Tonight's episode, The Doomed Samaritan. Sometimes, even the simplest things prove impossible. Consider, you get in a car and leave a life behind. Easy? Not tonight.
Thanks for the ride, Mark. I'm so glad to be leaving this place. You have no idea.
What, Night Springs? Come on, Linda. Relax. It's not that bad. Hey, what's that up ahead?
Oh, God. There's someone in the road. I think there's been an accident. Are you all right?
Oh no, Linda! Oh no! It was me on the road! Wait! Tell him to watch out for the truck! Watch out for the truck!
My God, Mark?
Oh, please! God, no! Linda! Linda!
Thanks for the ride, Mark. I'm so glad to be leaving this place.
What, Night Springs? Come on, Linda. Relax. It's not that bad. Hey, what's that up ahead?
Oh, God. There's someone in the road. I think there's been an accident. Are you all right?
Oh no, Linda! Oh no! It was me on the road! Wait! Tell him to watch out for the truck! Watch out for the truck!
My God, Mark?
And there you have it. A vicious cycle, brutally punctuated by the blast of an air horn and screaming metal.
Huh.
Many roads
Yeah, that's weird.
dangerous.
Because in the original Alan Wake, this was a fucking Verizon wireless commercial. I remember. But there was actually some Night Springs episodes that they cut and re-released later for people. That's cool.
So the one that leads away from
I think that's actually that's a really good episode. The trophy is still called Boob Tube for some reason. Huh. Oh, fuck. Have I played the Max Payne games? Yes, I have. I love the Max Payne games. Max Payne 1 is really good. Max Payne 2 is easily my favorite. Yeah, those had some neat television shows. I think that's one of the reasons that I enjoy, like, the Max Payne games, or these Remedy games so much. Because the Max Payne games really made me appreciate the little extra, like, TV show things they did in them. Low-resolution JPEGs. They were still fun, yeah. Because they were still, like, all voice-acted out and everything.
I found the car, but the gate's locked. You're gonna have to
Lords
go
and
through the
ladies.
hedge maze over there.
Barry, I don't have a light.
Address unknown.
Take this, Al. Oh God! Look at the house, Al! Look out!
Oh, fuck. Captain Baseball Bat Boy, stuff like that. It was really sad a lot of that wasn't, that Max Payne 3 didn't really have that much. It was mostly a couple of news reports and then a weird, like, South American soap opera. Or if they took inspiration from Max Payne when they included TV in GTA 4. You know, I would, yeah, probably did. Made an XP 360 tennis table game just to test out the GTA 4 engine. I remember that. I also remember that game getting, like, weirdly good reviews. They're like, yeah, it's fucking table tennis, but it's great. Atlas made Catherine to test out the Persona 5 engine. Oh, that's neat. Well, I'm glad they did that because I really liked Catherine. Don't trust Emil. Yeah, thanks, Rock. Apparently they went with a different engine for Persona 5 at the end of the day. Yeah, because they promised that Persona 5 was going to be on the PS3. But if it would make sense if they had to change engines, because it took them a lot longer than they thought to make that game. But they kept their promise, and they still brought it out on the PS3. It did, yeah. Atlas really likes putting Persona games on consoles that are either technically dead by the time they get there, or, like, just about dead. For historical purposes, that's nice, yeah. Because Persona 4 ended up on the PS2 a bit after the PS2's main life cycle was over. And Persona 5 ended up on the PS3 after the PS3's life cycle was done. And then the only other kind of neat one was Persona Q2 being pretty much the last 3DS game, just about. PS3 version is perfectly fine. It is. Is that an item, or is that just... Oh, that's just the lighting, highlighting one of the straps on the bench. Tricking me. No. As far as I know, it's a perfectly serviceable port of the game. With, as far as I know, very little to no real downgrades. I think of other games that this came out late, but the original last gen version still came out. Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild definitely count. Yeah, I guess that's true. Because they were kind of next-gen console sellers, but then they decided to put them on the last generation system too, to kind of bridge that gap. Alright, Zero. See you when you get back, man. Rodeo the Sky Soldier on the Wii U came with the Wii original disc. Oh, right on. Way better than the Wii U version. It was a port of the 3DS version. Huh. Oh, you motherfucker. I thought it was too easy fighting you. You've got an army of fucking birds with you. I'll be honest, I don't think I ever played, I don't think I played Rodeo the Sky Soldier. On Wii, you had Infinite Light, but they added limitations to the 3DS and the Wii U version. Oh. Interesting. The Wii had more colorful graphics, too. It's weird how that's a thing. That, I guess maybe not. I mean, sometimes when you're working with a system that has more graphical limitations, you can, you fall back on just having a more brighter, recognizable color palette instead. I get that. Light, sweet, delicious light. I remember this chapter having some hard moments. I mean, we are getting further in the game, so yeah, makes sense that they would be there. Especially towards the farm, I remember. I think ports for more powerful systems would always be better, but humanity is imperfect. Yeah. I like that. Humanity is imperfect. Indeed, sir. Shit. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how I dodged those attacks. I think, oh, fuck. I think I had just, like, panic spammed the dodge button and it just kind of worked out. This world is imperfect. Only I could make it as beautiful as me. Some JRPG. Yeah, right. Don't worry. I'm going to fix this world. That's great. I'm going to cure the plague that lies upon it. Awesome! The plague that known as mankind. Oh, now you've lost me. Lysander from Pokemon X and Y. Where'd that wheelbarrow go? It's above me. I never thought I'd be terrified of an aerial ambush by a fucking wheelbarrow, but here we are. It's just thrashing about up there. Yeah, most JRPG villains, what it comes down to is they want to fix the world, and the best way to fix the world is by destroying it. The wheelbarrow of eternal darkness. I mean, most of them go with that whole, like, motif of... Have I ever seen Twin Peaks? I haven't seen, like, the sequel End series, but I have watched the original, like, run of the show, the first 2 seasons. Someday I'll need to get the fucking, Showtime fucking app, or yeah, the Showtime live service, so that I can actually watch the rest of it. Twin Peaks is a trip though, and I love how it's, after having seen the show, I can see so much of its influence over so much other media, because it's the most extreme destroy and start over. Yeah, they always go with the whole, like, the way fire works, where you burn something down and then the ground becomes fertile and you can grow stuff from it, and pretty much. And they just apply that to, like, humankind in general. Like, Deadly Premonition is a game that's spiritually inspired by Twin Peaks, and that's another absolutely amazing game. It's a 360 game that looks like a PS2 game, but it's both terrifying but also horny and hilarious at the same time.
Ow! You're alive!
Let's get out of here. Can you open this gate?
Maybe.
Barry.
Well, I slammed it shut when the nasty showed up, and the key fits kind of loose in the lock, so,
Oh, good. Thanks, Barry.
Barry! I'll find it, don't worry about it!
Barry, I'm going to die over here. Thanks for that. Oh, hey! Welcome in, Tiff, and as always, thank you for the 100 bits.
I'm on it!
We're doing more Alan Wake. Just keep thinking of Barry from Archer. Yeah, I suppose he is more like a bit more like that type of Barry. Crazy cyborg Barry. I haven't watched Archer in a long time. I think the last bit of that show I watched was when they were doing like the Archer Vice season. Both wear red. You know who also wears red and is named Barry? Barry Burton. Perhaps my favorite, like, Resident Evil protag of all time. Oh, hey. Give Tiff a shout-out.
Hurry up, Barry!
I'm on it! I'm on it!
How you been today, Tiff? I saw you playing Subsistence yesterday.
Gotta be here!
I don't really know what quite the goal in that particular crafting survival game is, But I hope you're getting there in it.
I found it! I found it! Ah, no, wait, that's a twig.
Oh, I don't have... Oh, I'm dead, Barry. Had the hunters turned on for weekend to harvest them. Right on. Last thing out.
Hurry up, Barry!
Spies, drug dealers, spies, private investigators, coma dream, spies. I do remember that. That was like my favorite twist that I heard about when it came to Archer. That they connected Archer with Bob's Burgers. I thought that was fucking hilarious. I gotta move around a lot more. I tend to stand in one place and try to hold my ground against these guys. Did you actually find the key this time, Barry, or is it another... Oh, barely survived. That episode was your first exposure to Bob's Burgers.
For the nearest, you're now leaving Bright Falls.
I love the guy that does the voice of Archer and Bob from Bob's Burgers.
You know what? You owe me.
I remembered him way back when he was Coach McGurk in Home Movies.
You're gonna buy me a tanning bed as a gift, and I'm gonna live in it.
The classic trio, Alan, Barry, and Cardboard Alan. Those who's just survived. I guess the goal depends on what you want. Some people try to build like mansions. Okay, so it's just like standard sort of Minecraft crafting survival play. That's cool.
I'm crazy, but that's fine, Barry.
I'm crazy, but that's fine.
Now, you're barking mad. You are by far the
But
craziest.
maybe that's inevitable when you deal with crazy stuff like this. It helps. This is happening, Barry. Alice, they never had Alice. She's
That's
trapped
kind
in
of,
the dark at the bottom of the lake, but she's not dead.
It's kind of my perspective on things. I'm
I
crazy,
know, Barry.
but that's okay.
I know. Listen, I can bring her back. I can find her. There's something special about this place. The lake, it does something to the works of art created.
What's the name of that guy?
It makes them come true. But there's a catch. The dark presence, whatever that thing is, twists it to its own ends. That's why all of this is happening. It's using my manuscript to take over everything.
Al, I believe you.
It happened to
I'm drawing a
Thomas
blank
Zane
here.
before, it happened to the
What's the name
I
of
believe you. Crazy or
Archer's
not,
voice
you're not
actor?
delusional. Weird
It's like
shit's going down. That's a fact. I'm on board, man. I'm with you.
C.W. John or something like that?
Far gone to tell me with all the drugs they were on.
Or John
They wrote it
something?
down. There's a message somewhere at their farm, Barry.
The guy who made the new faces for this version also made the super realistic render of Peter Griffin from Family Guy. I've seen that, and I kind of hate it. But he does good work.
God damn it, Al, talk to me.
I'm okay, Barry. But
I
it's
had
dark
lost
and
my
I'm in the
God
woods
crash.
again.
Barry was nowhere to be seen.
Barry! Barry!
Oh, man, you're okay. Jeez, it's good to hear your voice. I was trying to get out of the car, but the ground gave way. Man, what a drop. Don't worry, your cutout is fine.
Oh, thank God
at
the
that.
cardboard standee
okay?
survived.
I hit some bushes, didn't get a scratch. There's no way you can climb down, though. It's like a sheer wall.
Oh, welcome back, Zero. Also, welcome in, Cole.
moving down here!
Barry, it's a taken! Use a flare, Barry!
Barry, I made a misstep. Barry. They added some sort of collectibles compass.
Boys, I was trying to get out
Camera,
of
and
the
then
car.
this collectible
but the
shows up
ground
as a
gave
blue
way.
dot on the compass.
Dad, what
That
a
would be
drop.
cool.
Don't worry, your cutout is fine.
Because that would also help you find, like, the,
Are you okay?
well, it would help you find the coffee thermoses, the cans you have to shoot down, but it would also help you find the pages that you can only get on Nightmare difficult as well, if they did something like that.
Al, there's something moving down here.
I don't even know
Barry,
if
it's a
you
taken.
really get
Shoot the
anything
flare,
other than
Barry.
achievements for
Oh, yeah.
getting the collectibles in this
Barry,
game.
are you alright?
I'm good, Al. I'm great. Guess you never messed with anyone from New York City before, huh?
Love that Barry's just having a fucking vacation down there. It's like I'm at a theme park, Al.
You're gonna have to find your way around to the farm, Al. I'll be waiting.
Brutal Legends
Barry,
had a
just
card part
wait
that
for
tried
me, okay?
collectibles for you.
Al,
The game was
I'm not
published
staying
by
here.
EA,
It's
so it
suicide.
was
I'm going
DLC.
to the
Aw.
farm. I'm gonna go ahead
Because I've played through
and
Brutal
secure
Legends
the
before.
area.
I love
You
that
can
game.
catch up.
I like Tim
Don't
Schafer
worry
stuff.
about it. I'm
I
on the
liked
case.
Now he's around.
Jack Black and
This would turn
like
into a
Kyle Gass
disaster
and
if I didn't catch up with
like
Barry.
all of them in that game. People hated the RTS parts of them, and while the RTS parts weren't really the best made for like a console game, I didn't really have all that much of a problem with them. I just loved the game's like aesthetic and world. I liked that in the jungle you had like Kiss-themed panthers that shot lasers out of their eyes and shit like that. Oh shit, that's right. Did you finish Shadow Man, Cole? Oh. Dude. I gently bumped that barrel with my leg and it killed me. The car in Brutal Legends was so smooth to control. Yeah, it did control really great. It's been years since I played that game. Probably about as many years as it's been since I actually played Alan Wake. Death by a barrel. And it was a stationary barrel too. It's like when people yeah. When people wreck on bikes by running into fucking mailboxes. Fucking criminy. Stay away from me! Okay, cool. I think that took care of that. Oh, fucking nope. I guess we're just going this way then. Brutal Legend was a bit of an odd combination, hack and slash RTS, car free roam, but it was good. Yeah, it was really good. It was a weird thing that existed. Full of celebrity cameos and a lot of like Psychonauts references and stuff like that. But it was good for what it was. I get a little like annoyed by the hatred it gets just for the RTS stuff. There was a million good things about it. People are like, oh, the RTS combat is clunky. 2 out of 10. Yeah, a lot of heavy metal celebrities. Ozzy Osbourne and Lemmy and such like that. Oh, whoa. Oh, shit. For a second there, I thought it was stuck on something. It was freaking out. But nope, it's still coming at me.
Shadows crawled over the gate. I needed a light to destroy them to get through.
Posted a pic for me in Discord. What do we got? Oh. Oh, for Cole. That's great. The, hold on a second. Did I get it? Okay, yeah. Okay. Hang on. I'll show you guys it. Matter, Cole. You don't want there it is. That Darth Vader loves Winnie the Pooh. Okay, we gotta get that generator
there'd still
going.
be a working generator somewhere around here to power up the old lights by the gate.
He likes galactic conquests, killing children, and Winnie the Pooh. What a wholesome character. God damn it. There we go. Yeah, he said it was a... Yeah, I guess that is a good question. I know he said it was like a school assignment for him. But I don't know the reasoning for it.
I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice.
At least I got a flashlight. So now I can minorly irritate them. Everyone loves Pooh Bear. Yeah. Oh, he had to write one on Winnie the Pooh or choose an even worse children's story. Got it. That guy decided to take a really long time hitting me, and it saved my fucking life. Too bad they didn't include American Nightmare with this. Yeah. This American Nightmare is kind of like a... It's kind of a bit of like a half sequel. It still doesn't really solve anything that's happening, but it does set up for a would-be sequel that never happened. If they had put American Nightmare in this, I would have liked it if they kind of touched it up a little bit. Because the one thing that kind of made that game fall a little bit flat was the fact that they didn't have... It was just an indie game, so they couldn't really afford to have a complex lighting engine like this in it. Which I think is this game's, like, strongest, element. Is just how well the light and dark work against each other.
Headed in the same general direction as I was. For all I knew, it was Barry, caught in the consequences of leaping before looking.
I'm a huge Alan Wake fan, though, so, you know, even with what I kind of perceive to be kind of its shortcomings, I still enjoyed that game. didn't look as nice, got a little bit of repetitive, but otherwise it was still a pretty fun experience. Had actually kind of some kind of creepy live action imagery in that game
If it was
too.
Barry, I would see the damage soon.
Like even more so than in this game. What were the choices then? Oh. So when I went to high school, I had an English literature teacher, and
I'm trying to deliver each page to the right time and place. I'm trying to show you how the story goes.
he was very much like a very, very devout Christian.
Spaceman or a diver.
But the other thing he was
the one who'd been placing the
was
pages
a
on my
massive J.R.R. Tolkien like lover. So pretty much including the year I was in his class, and like every year basically anybody who was in his literature class at any point, they ended up having to read The Hobbit going through his class. Oh, The Good Life? I think Kite was already playing The Good Life, though. Yeah. His name was Wortnick. As far as I know, he's actually still teaching and still making kids read The Hobbit. Oh, he just played the demo. Okay. I saw The Good Life on the Switch, and I kind of wanted to get it. No, that's not a... That dude was a little bit weird because of, like, his...
Someone had left
his
gun behind.
super Christian
Now I had a
beliefs,
fighting
but,
chance
you
of
know,
reaching the farm.
he was honestly very harmless. He loved two things, Jesus and anything that had to do with Middle-earth. I believe that's that's the point he was trying to make too. He wrestled at Stanford. Oh, was he the wrestling coach? Oh, interesting. Yeah, I just knew he was a lit teacher who was super Christian and could tell you pretty much everything that happened in the fucking Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion. And that he wanted everybody to know what happened in The Hobbit. Numerous wrestlers confirmed he tried showing them moves in the locker room. Like... if that's really how it was, I didn't know. I didn't do wrestling or anything like that. But never mind then. Guess that's a piece of my childhood I'll never quite look at the same again. Go. Flare. Very man, considering his beliefs and harmless. I don't know. If you're really saying he was just like honestly trying to show them moves and not just like implying something
Anybody
else
here?
from that.
Barry!
There's a perfectly cut scream.
No! Danny, you're not!
Oh shit.
Please!
The frame rate just tanked for a second.
What are you? What are you? No! Don't! I'm sorry!
Well, I don't know anything about that personally, so I really have no input one way or the other. He didn't come off as someone who was like that. To no implications. Okay. Then I misunderstood. Ooh.
I know you. You were in jail the other day.
I went to the farm again for the moonshine, you know? It makes you see. They're not gonna miss it. They're in the loony bin.
He had a childlike innocence.
My buddy,
He kind of did.
I lost him. Something's gone wrong with him. It's not him. Like a real bad follow-up to a real good movie.
He has been teaching for over 20 years, and
Suddenly the bad guy.
I don't think there's ever been any kind of
wrote
like
this crap
things alleged against him.
anyway.
Other than that, people thought it was a little creepy how super Christian he was. Okay, well, we got batteries and we got another gun. Ah!
I've run through every possible course in my head. If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice.
You just made me aware of something that...
And me and everybody in this town. No one will survive. Darkness will consume everything. This is what
didn't necessarily change how I viewed things, but kind of made me wary of that I could be misunderstanding it.
I've written myself into the story. I'm now the protagonist. This feels like a terrible risk, but it's the only way to save Alice. I'll be bound by the events of the story just as much as anyone else who's been woven into it. The story must stay true for this to work. There have to be victims along the way, near escapes, cliffhangers. In a horror story, it can't be certain that the hero will succeed or even survive. He almost has to die. I'll write my own escape into the story next. I need help. Zane's going to be the one who will help me. I'll make it happen.
I wrote myself into the story as the MC. Wait, doesn't that... So, like, at a certain point, he decided he was going to be the main character. Who was the main character of his story before that? Maybe it was Sheriff, or the FBI agent, Nightingale. Dylan sleeps. He'll be right back. Alright, man. See you when you get back.
Let me guess. Danny, huh?
Oh, thanks for bringing me a truck.
The farm was still a good distance away. I'd need a car to get there fast.
Down in the cellar there's goodies? Oh, there's also cow carcass. There we are. Okay, let's get it. Dude, so I looked on Twitter a little bit before I started today. Apparently one of the things that's trending since Metroid Dread is now out and everybody's loving on it, people are now bringing up fucking Metroid Other M, you know, kind of the black sheep of the series on the Wii, and they're now trying to defend it, saying that it was actually a good game.
If Barry wasn't up here, he was probably in trouble down at the farm. For a moment,
What I would say about it, though,
after all,
is
I
that
made it
having
this far
played
myself. But
a
Barry
decent
Barry.
chunk of Metroid Other M, I think the story beats of it are pretty awful, but I think the gameplay itself is not bad. The gameplay itself is just fine. What they did to Samus as in the story, and all of like the mother symbolism and stuff that's in it, it's really heavy-handed. Is not very good. But the gameplay is still solid. Happens a lot over time with games that can get loved. I don't think it really deserves criticize the game for its story, because for a character like Samus, that game was pretty much a blatant character assassination against her, story-wise.
You gotta be kidding.
But the gameplay was not bad. Wind Waker, FF15, etc. Yeah, Wind Waker, people didn't like it because they wanted, like, the Twilight Princess that wasn't coming just yet. They felt like they had been, kind of, like, cheated out of what they wanted. I gotta actually park up here. But given some time, like, people came around and they're like, oh, yeah, I mean, Wind Waker's actually a really good game. Like the other M. Adam, who's a sexist dick and won't allow Samus to bury a suit and calls her a lady. Yeah, and that's like that's part of, like, kind of the character assassination aimed at, like, Samus, is that Samus has always been a kind of character that shouldn't or wouldn't ever allow herself to play the role she plays in that game of just being kind of just having to play the sub, more or less. Saying Samus has Stockholm Syndrome. I'm saying she acts out of character for who she is.
I'd need a car to get there fast.
As someone who kills, like,
if Barry wasn't up
fucking brain-leeching space amoebas in fights, giant space pterodactyls on a regular basis,
Barry was Barry.
Having her actually, like, fear for her life was kind of not a great thing. But then also having her be this lone bounty hunter who constantly went out and did the deed herself and, like, fucking clapped cheeks and knocked heads around. Game had good intentions, was overly ambitious, and got rewrote several times. Okay. Like, fair enough, I suppose. Dealing with the info from the manga and Fusion. That is true. It wasn't actually Nintendo who were working on that game. It was Team Ninja, the people behind like the Ninja Gaiden games and like Dead or Alive. Adam is still a sexist AI in Dread.
Gotta be kidding.
Oh, he's still in Dread. I need to get Dread at some point. Oh, the PC calls you lady. But I don't think it's meant badly. Well, yeah, in like Fusion, the story parts in that was like Samus saw it as like a term of endearment. And then Metroid Other M came out and made it seem like it was more of a degrading thing. Oh, you know, I actually read that you said sexist AI, but I don't think my brain saw the sexist part. I'm like, oh, he's still an AI thing in Metroid Dread, because the AI that you talked to in Fusion wasn't really all that sexist either. Come on, burn. Okay. That worked out a lot faster. Okay, I remember this. I think I remember the farm part. Farm part kind of sucks a little bit. Never knew what she saw in Adam and Other M. He's nothing special. Grab the other. Yes, shot up in sales. Oh, right on. Yeah. Honestly, I think. In my own personal opinion,
I'd known the brothers.
Even
used to
though
be some
people
kind of
are
rock
more
stars,
waiting
but
for
it hadn't really
Metroid
sunk
Prime
in until
4,
I saw the stage.
I think people are probably gonna remember Dread more than they remember whatever Metroid Prime 4 ends up being. This is the best-selling Metroid since Prime. Yeah. Prime was a really good step, and it managed to take a series that had traditionally been in 2D and transfer it into 3D in the best way possible.
To go it alone, Mr. Bronson. Shut up and shoot.
That's actually kind of loud. Let's not that.
Ow! We have to fight them off. I can set off more of the fireworks from here and help you out.
Okay, this is the part I remember. This is why I think this part's difficult.
I'll try to get the stage lights on.
Because of this fucking Left 4 Dead style, like, finale section that I have to do. Torchbearers, see what they did there. Yeah, I know that, I mean, I'm aware of, like, the whole, they call it flashlights, torches in the UK. Oh, I don't have, shoot, I don't have a flare gun. Nope. Okay, I need to stock up on stuff. Other M has a game-breaking bug. Oh, it does. Like, I'm being honest, I haven't beaten that game, but I got a decent ways in it before.
Oh no, no! Why do you keep doing
Oh, the spotlight berry activates from time to time with checkpoint. Oh, hey. Yeah, okay. That's smart gameplay-wise. Holy shit. That's actually a really, that's a good way of fusing story and, like, gameplay together. I like that. Because he is helping you out by giving you, like, a safe point, or a safe place to take a breather, but at the same time, it's also provides a safe point that the game can reliably reload you from as a checkpoint. Pick up the freeze power up and you go left instead of pressing. The doors will refuse to reopen. Oh, shoot. Oh, get back on stage. Oh, the light went out. Give me a breather. Please. Jesus. Oh, yeah. Welcome back, Rip. Oh, cool. There was an old, Oh, neat. I lived! There was an old Dragon's Lair 3D game for the GameCube that I also did a Let's Play on my channel at one point. And after beating a boss, if you don't go the right way, the door will totally lock on you and you can't go anywhere. Thank you.
Hey, Al! This way to the farm!
Pump action shotgun, much better. I was in a hurry, so like I was panicking and didn't pick it up before. Okay, I think that's the hardest part of this level, if I remember right. Just that standoff part right there. I feel like I messed that one up a few times. Really like Barry. Yeah, he kind of grows on me, to be honest.
See,
Oh.
bestseller, no reason to worry. Your cutout's good as new, right where I left it. I'll come back for it once we have the place secured.
Yeah, that's been my biggest worry all this time.
I like his priorities.
We need to get this thing moved out of the way.
This is as far as I got before they ambushed me.
He is exactly the right amount of levity that this game needs. Don't worry, Alan. I protected your cardboard standee.
Hey, I think Alan Wake here has something to say. What's that, Al?
Ooh, I'm Alan Wake. I'm always right about everything. And if I don't get my way, I'll sulk all day long. I'm always intense and moody. It makes me very attractive and mysterious. Right now, I'm just standing here because I need my best friend Barry to carry me. But that's okay. I can just take him for granted.
I think I see what you did there.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You want me to do my imitation of Barry Wheeler? No? Thought so.
Oh, holy shit. Hey. Thanks for gifting a sub to Tiff. Rip. Appreciate it. Ah! And thank you, Sheds, for shouting him out.
Wow! You look at that thing, Al! There really went all out with this Viking crap, didn't they?
Oh, you've still been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon?
Look at all this stuff. They must have done okay for themselves, so how come I never heard of these guys?
Where are you on that game right now?
And this from the guy who learned about Ozzy Osbourne through reality TV?
Hang on a second.
Oh, Night Springs, man. Brings back memories. Hey, remember when I got you that gig?
Shut
your
up,
first
Barry.
real writing job. What got you started? Ooh, is this one of your episodes?
Vice versa. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, The Dream of Dreams.
That's by someone else.
We join Mr. Jones as he explores the endless dreamscape, only to be brought to a sudden stop by a decidedly mundane situation. A long line of people.
Hey, Jones, right? Listen, we're gonna have to wait until His Highness over there is good and ready.
Oh, wow. Who's that?
You don't know him? What are you, new? He's the guy dreaming us. Well, not just us. He dreams everything. All of this.
But wait, no. I'm the one who's dreaming. I'm asleep. Isn't this my dream?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Get real, pal. You're just another dream. I'm a dream. You're a dream. The weirdo in the diving suit is a dream. And the girl made of smiles and sunshine is definitely a dream.
But I'm pretty sure I'm dreaming this.
Well, maybe you're a really confused dream. What am I, a shrink? All I know is I'm going with the smart guys, and they say that's the guy doing the dreaming. Right there.
I don't know what that means.
It means we keep him happy. No sudden falls. We make sure he has his clothes on when he goes out in public. No chases where the monster is nipping at his heels and he runs like crazy, but his legs don't seem to get him anywhere. None of that. Because if he wakes up in a cold sweat...
Oh...
Yeah, precisely. So we wait till he wants to move on. Keep things nice and calm.
Hey, something's happening here.
Yeah? What's that?
What? Can't you hear that?
Oh, God help us, it's an alarm clock. Oh, it's you, isn't it? Please, man, I got a wife and kids. Please don't wait.
Oh, the episode just abruptly ended. Okay. Yeah. My favorite episode of Night Springs is probably the first one they play, the quantum suicide one. What did you just watch? Kind of like the Twilight Zone version of the Twilight Zone. Prefer the scary door. Sounds like Fred Jones. Oh. Let's split up, gang. Scooby, Shaggy, you'll be bait for the monster because you're disposable. The episode where a spider demon impregnates a man was weird. Yeah. They blew their load on the best episode in the first area. That's what I used to think. I mean, it's still my favorite, but I now that I've seen some of these other these other episodes that they added into the game, some of those are pretty good too. Fred doesn't have a catchphrase when he's scared. It's because he's a fucking cold, unfeeling sociopath. You watch old episodes of Scooby-Doo. When Shaggy and Scooby come up and tell Fred how, you know, the monster tried to kill him and stuff, Fred stands there with a big smile on his face. He does not care. The Johnny Bravo Twilight Zone episode gets it so much better when you're an adult watching it. I haven't seen Johnny Bravo in forever. I missed that show.
Almost like a battering ram.
Fred is dead inside, okay? He hunts ghosts and monsters because he just wants to feel the rush again. He wants to feel something, but they're always fake. Nothing's ever real. So he doesn't care. I've never seen a Johnny Bravo Bollywood movie either. Oh, that's cool. 1975 Ragnarok tour. For a second there, I was like, it looks weird the way they spelled Ragnarok, and then I was like, oh wait, they just spelt it like Ragna Rock, and not like the actual Norse way of spelling it. Top Cat was so popular in Mexico, they made their own movie. Dude, I fucking love Top Cat. When they brought out the old Hanna-Barbera cartoon collections on DVD, I bought the entire Top Cat series on DVD. There is a Scooby-Doo series that Fred has feelings in, the Mystery Inc. series. Oh, okay. I don't know if I'd like that. I've gotten kind of used to Fred being an unfeeling sociopath. Oh, they got me right at the end. I never saw Mystery Inc. I think I seen Scooby-Doo stuff all the way right up until, like, What's New Scooby-Doo? And then I didn't see anything after that. He just loves traps a bit too much in that one. Okay, I have seen memes about that. About how Fred is in love with the idea of, like, Rube Goldberg-esque traps and such. Trying to think of any cartoons that were popular in Poland in the early 2000s. Oh, huh. Life with Louie was quite popular. Well, at least that show was popular at somewhere, because as much as Louis Anderson's a funny comedian, I don't remember it being a big deal here in America. Now that I did Digimon Tamers, so dark, I found out it's written by the guy who did Serial Experiments Lane. Which season was Digimon Tamers? I'm guessing it was the third one. That was the one with Guillemon, right? I remember the third season of Digimon. That was like the last one I ever actually watched. Shaman King was popular in Russia. I remember Shaman King. It was one of those Fox Kid kind of shonen-like shows. Or, well, I guess it was a shonen show. Can you spoil Mystery Inc. a bit? Yeah, I have no problem with it. It's just another iteration of Scooby-Doo. Netflix has a remake of Shaman King now that follows the manga. Oh, neat. I remember seeing Shaman King and thinking it was kind of interesting. But I don't... No, please. Please, car. How am I not dead right now? And I'm about to be, though, right? Yep. Oh, what? I only took one more hit. Gummy bears? So the end implies that there are two realities, one where ghosts aren't real and one where the monsters are real. Zombie Island. Dude, I remember gummy bears from fucking the Disney Channel way back in the day. That show always sticks out in my mind as because I just remembered how absurd the show was, that they just solved all of their problems by drinking a potion that made them super rubbery and bouncy. The old Disney shows were big in Slovakia, right on. They were the first shows with proper good dubs. They got stuff like Rescue Rangers, DuckTales, and like Darkwing Duck and stuff like that. That's awesome. From what I understand, we only got 7 episodes of Darkwing Duck here in Poland. Considered it too violent for children. What? I mean, I guess it just is the way it is. Ducks can't be superheroes and fight crime. That's crossing the line. We gotta protect our children's eyes. On. Okay. They would have watched the shit out of Darkwing Duck back in the day. Yeah. They'd kept airing it. You guys get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? See those lectures. Two people who translate the whole movie and you hear the original in the background. 2003 version. Only the first 3 seasons. But dude, I used to be a big fan of like the 80s TMNT when I was a kid. Well, that car's just been waiting for me. No cliffhanger, it's gonna be fuck their ass. My problem with the 2003 Ninja Turtles isn't even really a problem, it's just small nitpicks that bothered me. Like an episode where they fought Shredder, and he's cutting through fucking pieces of wood. No, he's cutting through steel left, right, and center, like a hot knife through butter. But when Splinter shows up on the scene, his claw can't go through his fucking wooden stick. How is it okay for turtles to fight, but not a duck? The Digimon Tamers. There he goes through the biggest mine. Oh, in kid shows they would go, don't worry, it'll be fine. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah! Okay, yeah, I do kind of recall that. It's been a long time since I watched that show, but I do kind of remember that being a thing. Or in one of my favorite, like, short clips of that show, Leonardo jumps in the air to attack a foot soldier, or a foot ninja, pulls out his swords mid-flying, screams, and then sticks his swords back away and kicks the ninja in the head on his way down.
Maybe get a reality show going, release a new single.
In terms of levels.
Good luck with that, pal.
Turtle, cyborg, rat.
You find us a way out here, okay?
What do I think of the Darkwing Duck game? I played it on stream a while back, and I liked it. It was developed by Capcom for the NES, so it's got a bit of like a Mega Man in it, plus some fun platforming. I wasn't particularly good at it, but I had a lot of fun playing it. Should do another stream of it at some point, because I didn't finish it. The scene where Leo decapitates Shredder's cybersuit in the old... and nerds were watching and said nothing about Shredder not being dead. The 90s TMNT movie was considered too violent, so the second one got toned down to hell. So, the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that came out in the 90s is honestly a really, really solid, good movie. It's a bona fide classic. It's amazing. The second one, yeah, they toned it down a lot, and it became very much a lot campier and cheesier. I still like it. It's sort of a guilty pleasure thing. I even like stupid Vanilla Ice's cameo in it. You want to read the very original TMNT comics? I did hear that, like, yeah, the original TMNT comics are are actually a lot more violent and a bit darker. Go Ninja, go, yeah. 70s plus properties. RoboCop, Alien, and other adult stuff into kids' toys. Oh, dude, yeah. I loved RoboCop as a kid. Especially that part where they just shot Alex Murphy till he was pretty much nothing but a head. I got sent something else in Discord. What did I get? What are we doing? What is it? Oh, hey, that's fucking cool. That's really neat, man. You, that's cool. That's a nice little, like, pre-stream panel you got there. Black and white, too. Rambo the Animated Series. A 90s cartoon about anthropomorphic animals saving the environment, and the main villain was literally Satan. Huh. Yeah, I believe you. I never saw it, but I totally believe that was definitely a thing. It was lost in Dinky D's, huh? Just realized I sound sarcastic when I'm saying that. I'm trying not to be. I saw a lot of weird shit in the 90s. Biker Mice from Mars, Street Sharks, and all that shit. Everybody was chasing that TMNT money. So a bunch of anthropomorphized woodland creatures fighting literally Satan. I totally believe that's a thing that existed. Showed what Mr. Mephisto looked like under his robes, and he was a fat demon. Tiger sharks. Nothing can stop my X-Men and Batman. Oh, dude, yeah. Saturday mornings, X-Men and Batman the Animated Series, along with a bit of Spider-Man.
I'm not the only one. Deputies Mulligan and Thornton
Some great stuff.
a couple of moments off their busy schedule to join me here in the studio. Boys, how busy are you now?
I actually really loved, like, the way Batman the Animated Series, they went and did the same thing with Superman from the same people, and then they kind of overlapped them a little bit. And then a few years later, there was Batman Beyond, and then there was Justice League and Justice League Unlimited going well into the mid-2000s, and it was all that same, like, cartoon universe, kind of. There were some superheroes that showed up in, like, the last season of the Superman animated series that, when they did Justice League, they pretty much completely retconned how they were.
Now, is it just me, or does Deerfest get wilder every year?
Static Shock was great. I missed out on Static Shock. I never saw that one. I think that was the only show that's kind of in that universe that I didn't see.
Not just me.
I actually own a bunch of seasons of Batman the Animated Series and Superman and Batman Beyond.
It wasn't far now.
Ended with the Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Right on.
Geriatric wrecks. They had the goods.
I wonder if I can just... We've been going for a while. I don't usually go for this long. I also usually don't stream at this time either. I'm like actually in rare form today. It's an R-rated movie. See, here's the thing. In this day and age, if you want live-action superheroes shenanigans, you go to Marvel. But if you want the animated good stuff, you go DC. Because DC still makes some amazing fucking animated or amazing movies. They're just all animated now, pretty much. And I think most of the time the reason it's like that is because they still have a lot of the people who used to make the old like DC animated shows still working on it. Have I seen Invincible? I haven't, but I've seen stuff about it, and it looks really good. That's on Amazon Prime, isn't it? Because if it's on Amazon Prime, I actually can watch it. I should. But... in the latest movie, they kill their entire animated universe. Aw. Well, I mean... I don't know if that was a good idea. Oh, speaking of which, a while ago we were talking about James Woods. I've got a Justice League movie where they go to an alternate reality and fight like an evil Justice League, and fucking James Woods is basically plays a character called Owlman, who is just like nihilistic sociopath Batman. Seems like Mr. Mephisto might have been an alien. Oh, huh. Interesting. He had a mothership in the final episode. People think it's a fake out. I don't know. DC really loves rebooting their entire, like, comics. Oh, fuck. God damn it, wrong buttons. Really likes rebooting their entire comics set. So I wouldn't put it past them to do it to their animated movie kind of thing as well. I mean, I get why they do it, because they always want to be bringing in oh no, you're fine. God, I don't mind. If I ever get around to seeing that movie, fuck, why do I keep doing that? And checking it out, I probably won't even really remember till like towards the end. But yeah, I get why they do it. DC wants to bring in new, like, new blood into their world. But their comic books have, like, years and years of built-up history and mythology and continuity and stuff. So instead of just, like, trying to find a way, find a good point that people can jump on from, they just do the other thing where they just burn it all down and rebuild. I don't know. Just because something has been going on for a long time doesn't mean you have to start it all over again before people can, so that people can come on and understand. Just gotta find a place that makes a good jumping on point for it. I guess I gotta go this way. Say have soft reboot. Okay.
Al? Is that you out there, buddy?
Hey, let's go, man.
Hey, not much, Barry. How you doing? Staying alive? In a bright red puffball running around? Really, I think it's bad form to just completely wipe away years and years of built up like continuity and history of like characters like Superman and Batman and such, just so you can try to bring in a few more like new readers. It's not even really working.
Come on, one more gig. Let's do this thing.
Because new readers, for the most part, don't care about comic books anymore. Because there's too many people trying to write like woke characters and stories into it. They just want people that feel like heroes. New Superman writer made Superman bisexual. I don't care about that. That's fine. Make him out with some random dude.
The lights are out. I guess we better check the fuse box.
I mean, it's honestly whatever at this point. But what was it, like a year ago when they announced the new Guardians or the new heroes or whatever? That was kind of some really bad trash. So most would-be newer comic book fans are going to where that stuff still happens. And that's in like manga and stuff like that. Meanwhile, their older fan base is getting annoyed that the continuity that they followed for so long, the canonical character that they've loved is now just keeps getting rebooted. Then they don't stick with it either. Lois must be disappointed. Oh yeah, that is true. Did I miss it? Did like Lois and Clark get a divorce or something like that? Or is this just a new continuity where they never like actually became a couple? Continuity, I think, yeah. Like the new Superman and Lois show, it's great. I remember when I was a kid, we had the Adventures of Lois and Clark, or no, Lois and Clark, the new Adventures of Superman or whatever. That was
Can you hear that, Al? Music?
Of course. We need to find where it's coming
I remember that
That's
show
the
when I
message
was a
the
kid.
Emissions talked about. That's the whole reason we're here.
Lady of the Light?
It was a superhero show that was like
Cynthia Weaver.
almost a little bit more of like a soap opera kind of, or almost more of a drama show than a superhero show. Check for.
The record's probably just a little.
Give
it a little thump. I want to hear this song.
It's too cringe. Hey, I didn't say it was good. I just said I remembered it from when I was a kid. Invincible comic had a definitive end. I have heard about that, and actually got quite a sales boost after the animated series dropped. I mean, there is still hope for the comic books industry. It's just they're trying too hard to try to appeal to like a more modern woke crowd. They're kind of alienating their old audience.
Hey, Al. Lots of hours before dawn.
Boys on Amazon is great. I've heard that too, yeah.
Drunk.
Come on, Barry. This is. Yeah. What the hell?
No, seriously, because I know we don't get along, but we're gonna find her, right? Even though you're a crazy bastard.
Well, crowd won't buy or read the stuff. They only bitch on Twitter. That is true.
Brother. I'm a writer, god damn it.
Correct.
If I just wanted to, I could write 10 books a year. And they'd be the best books that year.
No, you couldn't.
That's right, I couldn't. But I could, because I'm a writer.
What? What do they put in this stuff? I feel like my brain is coming out of my nose.
Why the Last Man comic got a live-action series recently, but apparently it kind of blows. Got canceled today. 2 weeks away from the season 1 finale. Ah.
I just miss her, Barry. I just want her here with me.
I know, Al. I know.
I don't know. Like, I think the biggest misstep is that people in the comic books industry think that their readers want to see more like characters that like hero characters that seem more on par with people in real life modern day. But for the most part, that's not true. What they want to see, if they're thinking of superheroes, they want to see like superhero. Focused way more on gender politics than the source material. There you go. That's probably a better way of saying it. Damn it. You're happy that Swamp Thing is great. Right on. Oh, I'm in like first person camera right now.
Alice, I'm coming. It's all right. I'm coming.
It was a crazy drunken dream, and yet it was more than that. It was the truth, a suppressed memory unearthed by the Andersons' moonshine. I was there, an out-of-body observer. This was the night Alice
I
and
don't really remember. I don't really know all that
Allison
much about Swamp Thing.
I had a
I
chance
think
to find
way
out
back
what had
in the
happened.
mid-90s,
being
no,
surprised
early
to see
90s,
cabin dark.
there was a
Alice
Swamp
would have
Thing
never
television
dreamed
show
like
on the
that.
Sci-Fi Channel. I don't really know if that was based on the comic book or anything like that, if I'm being honest.
Thinking, I caught a glimpse
But I
of her
remember it
form
existing.
underwater, sinking into the darkness.
I remember he was a character that existed in
memory I had
Injustice
that
2,
night. After that,
where he showed
next
up
thing I could
for
remember was
literally
waking up behind the wheel
one
of the
scene,
crash car and finding the first pages
was
of the
like,
manuscript.
"Argh," and then you fought him, and then he went away. The Swamp Thing comic run by Alan Moore was great. Right on.
I couldn't find her in all that blackness. I must have thought she drowned.
Alan Moore is a pretty good comic, or no, he's a great comic writer. He's the guy behind The Watchmen, isn't he? Everything is gender or race politics because anything made is going to be ripped apart no matter what. Yeah. That's true. There will only ever...
I'd been easy prey.
There will always be critics.
Is there someone in the window?
He's a literary god, like...
Alice?
Maybe she didn't drown after all.
Alan Moore cameo from The Simpsons? I actually do.
Yes.
I do remember that. I don't know.
The dark presence had touched me. She had dug her
At the
nails
end of the
into
day,
my brain and
if
used
you're
me,
like
made
a
me
comic
her
book
puppet.
writer or whatever, just write the story you want to try to write. And if your comic book has a message,
maybe upstairs
write the
in
comic
study.
book around the message.
Yes, that's where she
Don't
is.
write the comic
You
book
can
and then
apologize.
insert a message
You
afterwards.
laugh the whole thing together and put
Don't read the words. I just like when he punches people. He make his costume stick so close to his muscles.
Alice?
She's not here. You were foolish to think so.
Heroin-addicted jazz critic who's not radioactive.
She drowned.
No, no, no!
It's your fault your wife is dead. You are guilty. All she wanted was to help you right. You killed her. Oh, hush. There's still hope. Cauldron Lake is a special place. Here, you have the power to change things. She wanted you to write. I will tell you.
I think this might be the end of chapter 4, and if it is, I think I'm gonna call it here for now. I'll come back later today, and we're gonna do some Jackbox Party Pack things, but I think I'm gonna hit the end of this chapter and call it for today.
She had Alice.
The next time we come back to this, we'll finish the story and maybe get started on the DLCs. Because I am going to do the DLCs, just depends on how long it takes me to do Chapter 5, whether or not...
Fix it. I'll bring her back.
How much of the DLCs I do, if any, that time.
No, I wrote it. I remembered it all now. In the dark, I'd written for days, a week, almost a complete manuscript of a
Chapter
novel
5 isn't all that long.
Departure. Jagger had been my editor, whispering in my
Alright.
ear, making sure that the unfolding story would make her more and more powerful. I thought I was saving Alice.
I don't remember, I haven't played in a long time.
Even with the cobweb she put in my head, some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story, to bring a light into the cabin to release me before I could finish, to interrupt the horror story before the ending, where darkness consumed everything and everyone. Zane was weak and far away, but I had written him into the story, and his light had been enough to set me free.
It's me, Diver Man. Come with me, Alan Wake, and I shall save you.
I brought the light to save
My boy.
You must hurry. It will know I'm here. It will be back soon. It stole the skin of my armor a long time ago. She looks so old.
I'll be taking your book, Alan Wake, and writing my name on it.
My mind consumed by darkness and fear. All I could do was to escape. The week spent in the cabin had taken its toll. I was barely conscious and fading fast. It had to have cost Zane terribly, thrown him even deeper into whatever dark place he now haunted. But he had managed to weaken the dark presence, kept me safe that night. I wrote it. It's my fault.
That's right, James Joyce. It's your fault, and you're gonna pay for it.
You're going into the slammer, Agatha Christie. Sorry. Okay.
Previously on Alan Wake, under the influence of the dark presence.
Oh yeah, Adolf Hitler was an author, wasn't he?
Been my editor, making sure that the
That is true.
story would make her more and more powerful. Some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story.
Together we can create something absolutely wonderful.
The lake, it does something to the works of art created here. It makes them come true.
My mom gave me this old light switch.
The clicker.
Alice is being kept in a dark prison. I need to find Cynthia Weaver to fix this.
According to the slammer Fidel Castro.
Well, we're expecting a record crowd from the neighboring counties. Naturally, we hope to break the record set by last year's Moose Fest in our neighboring town, Watery. Ladies and gentlemen, some people have asked me, what's the big deal about Deer Fest? And I think that this sums it up. It's about friendship and community. We've got a great party coming up. Let's try to hold it in until tomorrow and get through the night in one piece, all right?
Yeah. Oh, they arrested Barry too. Why didn't they already have him in custody, come to think of it?
He wrote it. The key is insurance. It's my job to keep it safe. Safe in the light. Always in the light.
Yeah.
All the manuscript pages were gone.
That's cool. I'm glad. Neat. Good job, Alan Wake. Yeah, okay, so they just let Barry go because they had no evidence. Oh, okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me for this. More a bit of an early morning stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I am having quite a bit of fun going through this. Thank you. Solid 4 hours. Indeed. That's longer than I usually stream. But it didn't even really feel like 4 hours, if I'm being honest. But yeah. If any of you are around later and you want to join in, I'm going to be doing like a Jackbox Party Pack stream in about a little over 4 hours, I believe. I don't think anybody else is live right now. Did I get Party Pack 8? No, I haven't yet. I think this time we'll still just do a few of the other party packs, and then next time we'll, like next month, if we do this again. Yeah, I guess there just isn't anybody to raid right now. I'll get Party Pack 8 by then. I don't even think I have Party Pack 7 right now either. But I mean, there's 6 other packs full of games and stuff. We'll have some fun. Alright. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for the gifted subs and bits, and thank you for hanging out with me. And I shall see you later.